Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
There we go!
Hey!
So we apologize. We had an internet glitch.
Yes.
Which is why we weren't up at 11 o'clock.
We were doing the show for a couple of minutes.
And nobody was watching. One of the funny things that I'm just sad that everybody missed out on was the conversation we just had. About You may have heard this deal where if you change your name to Subway, you get free Subway for life.
Right. And it came up because I heard G on my old show talking about it with Dustin and Nick.
And G's list of demands that he would need are way beyond free Subway for life. He wants 2 franchises, $33,000 a year. Don't know why he came up with that number.
Because I would
make
like
$1 million.
I want $1 million to do it. So
if you live to be 71, you said it would be $1 million.
Yeah, so $33,000 a year, and it's like an annuity. If I die before then, it doesn't pass anybody.
I see. Yeah. But you would do it for all of that.
Yeah, and my family has to get Subway. My
free Subway
family too.
Family. So
and he said he'd go by Subway Bush.
I said, so what would you go by? Would you go by
Subway
Sub?
Bush.
And he goes, no, my name's Subway Bush. Just hearing that.
That's so many different
And then it devolved into an inappropriate sexual conversation, too.
Which we won't get into. Hey, can we take a shot behind the glass?
There
Our
he
man,
is.
Mikey McNuggets, the world traveler.
He survived.
He's finally back.
Yeah, I went to through some travel difficulties getting there. Had an
It took like a day
week.
to get there, right?
It took 39 hours to get to Berlin. Yeah,
I was honestly stressed. I care about Mike so much. When he told me he was flying through Turkey, I was stressed about it.
Yeah, that's
because I'm like, Turkey's not a very safe country.
Yeah.
And I was worried about him, but he never left and he missed his flight there. Well, he'll tell you the whole story.
We profiled the hell out of that, but I talked to him. He said it was one of the nicest airports they've ever been in.
All right, very good. I just remember, you guys are too young, but there was a movie called Midnight. I think it was Midnight Express. And it was the lead character was flying through Turkey, and he had hash taped to him all around.
Wow.
And it was based on a true story. The actor Brad Davis played the role. Mm-hmm. And if you ever get a chance, I know you'll love it. It is a thriller like no thriller you've ever seen. I was pretty young when I saw it. It probably came out in like 80, 81. Mm-hmm. I think it's called Midnight Express. But he gets caught in a Turkish prison.
Oh, hell no.
And you know that, I think, is where the meme came from.
Yeah, right. Locked up abroad.
No thanks.
Was created by guys like that.
We have no diplomatic ties with.
Bro.
So we tried to get him out.
No.
He couldn't do it. And I don't want to give you a spoiler because I really would like you to watch it because I want to hear your thoughts.
Midnight Express?
Midnight Express.
Not Midnight Run. You've seen Midnight Run.
No, Midnight Run is a different movie.
Yeah.
No, this is called Midnight Express.
No, I know.
It is.
All right,
will
I'll
be
check
on
it
the
out.
edge of your seat the entire film.
I'll check it out.
Foreign countries do not play when it comes to drugs or guns. And if you like places like Singapore
or marijuana, even.
they'll give you in Singapore.
Brittany Griner ended up in Russia forever.
Singapore give you life, manual labor.
Oh my gosh!
You could go to jail for putting gum on the street.
No kidding.
That's true.
They're not playing with you.
Wow, Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay. Give it up for Singapore.
Yeah,
so shout out to Singapore. So we're going to have we carved out 15 minutes at the end of the show for Mikey's journal, his travel journal.
Yeah, I got some thoughts, I got some takes. I saw some things,
right?
I got questions. I need answers, but yeah, we'll do it at the end. We'll save it all for the end because we have a lot of stuff in the sports world to get to without a doubt. And let's get right into it. But first, I am happy to be back, and I can't wait to tell you guys about my trip. And if you missed anything, later this week, Anthony, Earl, and myself will be doing a Behind the Glass on Wednesday. Make sure you guys tune into that. We'll go over all the travel stuff we didn't get to, plus what's happening in the world of sports outside of that, but we can't wait to tell you all about that. As I was flying home, the punch heard around the world made waves in an international airport. I was in Portugal as this happened, and I could see in the customs line everyone looking around like, oh, did you see this?
Isn't that amazing?
And, of course, it was Cleveland when I'm not there. But the Jose Ramirez punch literally had transcended the continent in a matter of minutes thanks to Twitter.
Which is odd because baseball's not big in Europe.
Unbelievable.
No, but I'm sure there were a lot of Americans in the line.
Yeah, it was to get the
Instagram.
customs flight from Germany. We had to go through Portugal to get back to America. So I was in a line with a bunch of Americans.
Yeah.
Getting
it's
that
just
passport
crazy.
stamp.
I mean, sometimes we have to be reminded the power of this thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And social media and how a punch thrown at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario can immediately be viewed and cause ripple effects half a world away in seconds.
Yeah.
I was not watching the game. I've lost interest, as I well documented on Friday. Wasn't watching the game, and I got a text from a good friend of mine showing the fight, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And I also wasn't watching the night before. I heard all about the tag
push-off
from my baseball teammates when I got to my game Saturday.
Yeah.
They were all telling me about it. And I said, well, when I saw the fight, I go, that's got to be carryover. That's definitely carryover. And I love everything that Jose did. I mean, he slid hard. He was sending a message, and then he dropped him. And Hammy's call might be the best part about it. There's already a shirt that says, down goes Anderson with an image of the fight.
It was just amazing that they put that out so quick. I mean, listen, I know one of the questions is fighting good in baseball? In general, fighting in sports is not good, but once in a while, it's a lot of fun. And this is one of those situations. Tim Anderson started something he couldn't finish. I mean, he dropped the gloves first. Essentially, using a hockey term.
He literally did.
He literally drop his glove.
Infielder glove off.
And he squared up, and Jose squared up, and Jose just caught him right on the jaw. He might have a concussion. I mean, who knows?
I think he was concussed.
Yeah,
there was another
wobbly,
clip that was minutes after the punch. He had no legs.
Yeah.
He didn't know where he was. So I do think that, the term in sports, glass jaw, we've all heard it.
Yeah.
If you have never been punched in the face, you don't know if you have one or not.
I haven't been punched in the face.
I have, and in hockey fights, and I found that it didn't affect me at all. Didn't affect my leg. It hurt like hell.
Yeah.
But it didn't send any trip wires to my brain or to my legs.
To be out.
I've seen other big guys.
Yeah.
Big guys that had never been hit in the face. And the first time they got hit, it tripped that switch, and they were out. And apparently, Tim Anderson has what they call in sports a glass jaw.
Yeah, I mean, they had to walk him out of there because he, and then he didn't play yesterday, obviously. But it was a good fight. I'll tell you this.
It seemed like a glancing blow, though, didn't it?
It didn't seem like the biggest hit, but yeah.
And the other thing, too, was he was being pulled away from.
He was, yeah.
Anderson.
He had his neck. Whoever that, I can't tell who that is.
I think it was.
Was it Zach Remillard?
No, I think it was the pitcher.
It's Kopech.
Oh, that's Kopech.
Yeah, he got to him first. And he's much bigger than Jose.
Yeah, sure.
And so his momentum is being pulled away, and he just flails it. And he's sort of.
Yeah.
But you can see, when you watch that slow motion version, you can see the fuse blow.
Yeah.
In Anderson, because he just does a little wobble, and he's done.
Man,
yeah, and after that, things still got heated again. There was like a second round.
It took like 20 minutes, didn't it?
And the White Sox manager got ejected. Francona's been ejected like 5 games in a row or something.
Well, he's trying to light a fire. He's trying to light a fire, and I think he may have told Jose, "Look, we got to do something. We need something."
Unfortunately, it didn't work because they lost both games since then.
They've lost 5 of 6 since the trade of Savali.
7 of 9 total.
7 of 9 since the first trade of Rosario, I believe.
By the way, yesterday, so the White Sox traded a journeyman relief pitcher named Keenan Middleton to the Yankees. And Middleton, who was only on the White Sox this year, had signed a minor league contract, but had been pitching well for them in the pen. There were some quotes from him.
About what's going on in Chicago?
Yeah. Did you see those quotes?
I didn't, but I can imagine because both you and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
This is clearly a group of malcontents. They're playing way below their skill level.
He says there's no rules there. Everybody does whatever they want.
Yeah,
he's like, there was a rookie pitcher who fell asleep in the bullpen. Guys don't go to meetings. He said he couldn't believe it. He said he didn't, because he had a beard, and obviously he had to shave his beard when he went to the Yankees. He was like, yeah, I didn't want to shave my beard, but I was happy to do it. I was happy to follow some rules.
At least now there's discipline,
Yeah, and
that explains a lot, doesn't it? That explains a lot. Now,
yes.
So I'm just going to guess. Haven't read anything about this, haven't heard anything about this. Tony La Russa was there.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a player revolt under Tony La Russa. And I'm wondering if La Russa, who's old school,
And they didn't play well for him either.
They did not. They didn't like him.
No.
They didn't like him. There was a real rift between La Russa and the players.
Yeah.
In part, I was told, because of all the rules.
Right.
And I wonder if White Sox management didn't say, look, this is 2023, and they're not doing well with all this structure. And I wonder if they then swung the pendulum too far the other way and said, let's relax the atmosphere and see what happened.
Yeah,
well,
they should blow up that team, but that's
it's a disaster. It is.
Mr. Anderson, you got knocked out, bro.
Yes, you did.
He's now a meme for life, guys.
Oh, my God, yes.
20 years from now, when you think about Tim Anderson, and I'll tell you why that's true, the first thing you're going to think of is that punch, no matter what he does, because Robin Ventura had a great career.
To this day.
Yeah.
We can't think of anything about Robin Ventura except for getting cow-poked by Nolan Ryan.
Because
Jose Bautista got punched by Odor.
A great player. And Odor, that was one of the greatest punches
ever.
And he didn't fall down.
We're going to rank those
But it
coming up.
knocked
Don't
his
worry.
glasses off his face. Yeah, by the way, we're going to count down the top 5 punches, not boxing punches in sports history a little bit.
My co-hosts try to save you. They try to go to the White Sox and their team destruction.
No.
But this is all about you, man. See, in the hood, the guy who gets knocked out usually is the guy who squares up first. You threw your glove down like you had hands. You know if you got hands or not. Now, here's the problem. You got the overhead right didn't connect. He ducked 2 of those. And usually when somebody is ducking and you sitting here and they go up underneath you, he was looking at him like this. I got you. They grabbed him back, and like you said, your chin don't lift weights.
You can't train your jaw.
Your chin don't lift weights. Ain't nobody scared. Hey, no one's scared of that ink. Hey, listen, you can be tatted up from your face to your heels. At the end of the day, everybody can get knocked out. And it's just all about whether or not when you get knocked out and you take your L's like the rest of us. If you know when you get knocked out, you have another renewed sense of aggressiveness now. Because you're like, man, I done gave some ass whoopings out. I done caught a couple ass whoopings. Ain't no big deal to me. Like, those are the most dangerous people. But these guys right here, the fake tough guy, look at him throw. Look,
he's standing there like he's done this before.
No, you missed the 2 overhand rights. Boop, you missed 2 of those, and then it was like flail. He got caught with a haymaker.
It didn't even look like that much of a punch.
It really didn't. But Jose's a strong guy.
He is.
He's got nice bat speed.
Yep.
And here it comes. And what's crazy to me is Jose really wasn't even looking at him.
Nope.
He's looking down.
Heads down.
And he just throws a haymaker.
Boom.
And he hits him right in the jaw. And guys, I know you say that some guys, when they get in fights, they say, we won some, we lost some. But this is one of the most embarrassing things that can happen to a professional athlete.
That's
because you got stripped of your machismo.
That's right.
In front of the world. And if this was 1991 when Robin Ventura or whatever year that was got beat to death by Nolan Ryan, that was bad enough because it played on George Michael Sports Machine and Sports Center. But there weren't people in Germany or wherever McNuggets was boarding his plane, and everybody was staring at the phone looking at the same clip of video. That's probably been viewed 100 million times. Every
non-diehard baseball fan who had no clue who Tim Anderson was knows who he is now.
Wasn't that I think he had a side chick that put him out. I think he had a side chick and he was messing with this girl, and then she just outed him to everybody.
Oh, really?
I think that might be the same dude. Like,
I don't know.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Could certainly be possible.
Earl says it is.
Earl knows.
Okay.
Earl keeps track of these things.
TMZ.
That sounds like an NBA type story to me.
And he had to come out and apologize. Now you got knocked out. So here's the thing.
You got knocked out.
The only way you can come back from this is you gotta go full Willie Mack. You got to go full Willie McGinnis. You got to make an example out of somebody. You better come in with the Mean Street Posse, and the first fan that say something, now you going to, listen, you might get canceled, and you may go to jail, but the only way to come back from that is you got to make an example of somebody. They be like, dang, Tim Anderson didn't have to do him like that. And you still going to say, why'd you pick him? Why don't you go find Jose Ramirez and fight him again?
I wonder if it's done between these two. Because to your point, I don't think there's any way he gets back his tough card.
He got to fight him
without
again.
knocking Jose Ramirez out.
So, Jay, it's
to
interesting you
on
say
site.
that because Tim Anderson went on quite the Twitter tirade.
Oh, beautiful. What did he say?
Let's take the
I
other
didn't
one
see any
first.
of it.
Don't take this one first. Anthony, give me the full tweet.
By the way, hold on. Before you do that, Jose Ramirez, for his part, said, look, he wanted to fight. He said,
pulled
I
his
want
gloves
to
down.
fight. And so I had to defend myself. Now, both guys are going to get games.
yes.
Probably 3 or maybe 5.
Something like that,
Because it was a doozy. Both guys are going to get suspended. I don't think Jose should. What was Jose supposed to do when the guy drops his gloves? That is basically a let's go.
I think they could argue he may have started it by he kind of pushed him
I know,
here.
but what was said? Anderson
I
said
don't know.
something when he was standing over him.
Yeah.
And it was clearly a carryover. You know what? I blame the league. The league got this call wrong on Friday
the other
night.
day, yeah. And Jose was pissed because Jose at his post-game presser, talking through the interpreter said that Tim Anderson disrespects the game. Basically, he has a reputation of
and that
being
isn't
a
the
little
first time.
overzealous on his tags.
And that isn't the first time that Tim Anderson has been accused of disrespecting the game.
That's true.
It's kind of his reputation.
He doesn't have a great reputation.
He does not have a good reputation. So what did he say on Twitter?
So he's tweeted a lot, and I'm going to read you a bunch of them. We'll show you a few, and then he erased one. So we're going to show you the one he erased after some of the ones he tweeted. But Stevie, take tagboard full here. And he went on about 13 tweets, and I'll just read a couple. You know all this is happening for a reason. We stay focusing with this.
Wait, which is this? Is there an order to these?
From bottom to top, yeah. This was all in like a 10-minute span.
Okay, so what's that one on the right?
This is just saying Tim Anderson having an absolute meltdown on the timeline.
Oh, I
see.
Screenshot
of his timeline.
So he starts down there at the bottom. You know all this happening for a reason.
Then we stay focusing with this shit. We've been going through this shit for a minute. We ain't never tripping. This shit bigger. We gonna catch with them later. Keep kicking me while I'm down. He goes on to continue. A lot of MFers been switching up too. Fake shit. Y'all got me fucked up. Effed up, sorry. For real. My bad. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. The bigger picture's always bigger. And then he erased one, and this is the tweet he erased. He got off me. We ain't tripping about that. This is bigger. We'll catch up with him later. So take that how you want. He did erase that tweet.
I don't
know what the hell any of that means.
I think he's saying that he's going to go after him again. There's going to be another fight.
Yeah, but is there something bigger? Like what?
What could be bigger? I don't
know what's bigger. Yeah, but
now, can we bring street correspondent Earl in here?
Yeah, we need street correspondent Earl.
Street correspondent Earl. When he
translate
this in my way, I hope he's thinking it this way. When he says it's bigger, is he insinuating that he's going to catch him outside?
That's what it sounded like to me.
In the streets and not the diamond.
That's basically what it sounded like to me.
Me too.
And Tim Anderson basically said, man, I'm going to see you again. I'm going to catch you in these streets, and then it's going to be the same thing all over again.
Listen, Tim Anderson ain't doing shit. He's soft as a baby's ass. He ain't doing nothing. Who's he kidding?
Well,
he ain't going after him on the street.
I'll tell you this. I think the commissioner now has to weigh that evidence.
Absolutely.
As to what he does. And he might have to go 7 or 10 games on Anderson with the caveat that if there's any retaliation, if there's any future dust-up, you get half a year. Because one thing they can't have is taking stuff to the streets.
You can't take it to the
You can't have it in the streets.
Like you can't catch Jose Ramirez in Chicago in a restaurant and just mean street posse him. That's not a thing. But here's the thing. I think they may give that caveat. Like, look, hey, we watching you, bro. That's premeditated. If we catch you and you do it again, we're going to give you a half.
And here's the other thing. On the diamond, what happens stays there. And almost never, there's been a handful of exceptions. Have there ever been criminal charges for something that's taken place on a field or on ice? I say ice because I know one time there were charges against a player who started a fight on ice. But if you're making threats like this, and then you go after Jose the next time they meet up on the diamond, which if you can, Mike, you find out, are they done for the year or do they get to meet these guys again? Because if something dusts up later, then it almost becomes an assault, a premeditated assault.
What he's hoping is...
We got Tim Anderson and Donald Trump threatening to beat people up. Who's going to do it? Who do you believe is going to do it?
Neither.
And neither.
I would say my money would be on Tim Anderson.
Definitely.
However, he's counting on Ramirez being he's like, Jose come from a tough place. In where's he from? The Dominican
but Jose Ramirez is one of the most affable.
Everybody loves
likable.
him.
I've never seen him lose his temper.
Might have been he must have been pushed so far.
That's the code.
Have you ever seen him lose his temper?
Never. That I could ever recall.
If he's threatening him, he's gonna get him back. He's thinking Jose ain't from no regular up top. Like, he's not no sucker. Like, he's not coming from private school or something. Jose, he was with it. So he's hoping, like, okay, if I fight him again, Jose's not going to press no charges on me. He doesn't look like a press charges type dude. He presses chins, though. It looks like he presses a lot of chins. You might not want that smoke the second.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If he gets you the second time and you initiate it and y'all play him and he knock you out again, you got to retire.
I've got an idea.
That should be the rule.
You got to retire.
He should have to retire.
I want, Barstool makes fights now. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's very lucrative business. I want the UCSS pay-per-view Tim Anderson, Jose Ramirez
that would be amazing.
Pay-per-view fight. We broadcast it. The three of us on the mics.
Yes, it'd be amazing.
We do it at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Man.
No, that's not big enough. At the Horseshoe.
Horseshoe, yeah.
Listen. So these knucklehead nerds that run social media companies are going to do it.
Yeah.
And Dana White, who makes fights for a living, said that if this happens, it will be the most watched fight ever.
Supposedly Le'Veon Bell and Vontaze Burfict might be fighting.
Wow.
Now, I'd watch the hell out of that.
Definitely watch that one.
Those guys both could go.
Legitimately, how many people do you think would show up to this? You think it would be like a
you'd
legitimate...
sell out Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
If Saturday night, let's say it was February,
That's crazy.
and we put the fight for a Saturday night in February, and the Cavs are out of town, and we said Jose Ramirez versus Tim Anderson, 5-round celebrity fight.
This is Cleveland, Jay. They'd sell out the Brown Stadium for that.
They probably would. And they'd come from all over. You know why?
Yes.
Because now we've seen the appetizer.
Yeah, that's right.
And Tim Anderson wants revenge. Let me tell you what Tim Anderson is doing right now. He's on the road in his hotel. The lights are all out. His ringer's off on his phone, but he's watching that on a loop.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And every time he sees it, he's getting more and more angry.
And people making jokes about him.
He's a meme for
and it's
life.
never going to end.
Jose Batista's off the hook.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. We don't remember that. We don't remember that.
No.
That's
I
done.
mean, we'll always remember it. But like the most recent great punch in a sporting event has been thrown by Jose Ramirez.
This is the worst ever in baseball because he collapsed.
He knocked him out.
No.
Down goes Anderson.
And it wasn't like it was a situation where he was fighting Aaron Judge, who's 6'7", 300.
He was bigger.
Yes.
Anderson's bigger. Hey, can we play the hammy audio?
Yeah, we do have the hammy
By the
audio.
way, real quick before you play it, good job by the umpire, who originally was trying to separate them, and then he's like, screw it,
You're
I'm
right.
out.
When he realized that they were going to throw hands for real, he's like, I'm not paid enough.
He was like a hockey ref.
I'm not paid enough
I'm
for
out.
this.
And this is, before you play it, this is when they say G. Bush is having spasms and he can't come to work. This is what happens to me in the morning.
Let's listen to the beautiful voice.
Facts.
Of the one, the only.
Hamilton.
Tom Hamilton.
Tom, thank you. Thank you.
And Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson. First, now Jose and
Do we have the longer
Anderson
clip,
square
Mike?
off.
Where
They're
it
fighting.
transitions into
They're
this?
swinging. Down goes
Yeah, I'll find it.
Anderson.
That's the whole
Down
thing.
goes
Because the way he
Anderson.
transitioned into the boxing call from...
Yeah, heart slide in a second.
Right. We got to hear the call where he does the
And then he
baseball
immediately
call.
said,
And
they're fighting. First of all, what I love about Tom Hamilton, many things. He's the best.
Yeah.
What I love most about him is he never has the generic call. Like,
At all.
whenever there's going to be a moment, and you know there's going to be a moment, whether it's clinching the ALCS or the World Series victory, these guys stand in front of their mirror and they practice the call because they want it to be good. Al Michaels didn't do that with Do You Believe in Miracles? It happened.
And
It was organic.
Well, that's what made it special.
That's what made it so good because when they go into that canned performance, you're like, oh, dude, you just killed the moment.
Right.
You ruined it. Hammy, there's no way he ever could have anticipated this was going to happen.
No chance.
He was a true play-by-play man in that moment. He was calling what he was seeing, but he didn't know what was coming next.
We got to hear this one because this is where you can hear the transition.
All right, Steve, take it.
Was it?
Here it comes. A swing and a smash to first by the diving Vaughn. Down the right field line. Kicks into the corner. Ramirez on his way to second. Head first slide. Safe, and in to score is Jimenez. And another hustle double. Right over the bag at first. Now Jose and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
I mean, that's just an all-timer. And then the bullpen guys got to come out.
I love the behind camera view with the bullpen guys coming getting on their horses.
Kudos to the producer and director of the Guardians games on Bally's.
Yeah.
Because that's a camera that's a fixed shot. They usually like it when Class A comes out. They take it every time.
Right.
But the director knew, oh, God, they're leaving the pen. Give me the pen exit shot.
Man,
and it was right on it. I mean, it was great. It was a great job all the way around.
Hey, man, by the way, man, the fact that he has no feeling in his arms. He is not with us at that moment.
Nope.
His spirit is between here and Netherworld. It was where Ant-Man took place. He's in the Ant-Man division. He's there. He's fighting Kang the Conqueror.
Where is that?
He's like, I've been here 35 years, and I know you've been gone for 5 seconds.
There's a lot of really good ones. Mikey, I'm sending you one that I saw that's worth showing.
Oh, my God.
But there's so many good ones. But this one made me laugh for sure. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah. You've sent me stuff on Instagram before.
I thought I did. I wasn't sure. I just sent it to you on Instagram. See if you can put that in tag board and play it.
There's going to be...
Because it's a great job editing.
Yeah. Dude, by the way, are you playing the Immaculate Grid, by the way? Are you doing this?
No, I'm not.
You don't know what this is?
No, I don't.
How do you... You're the only person who doesn't know what this is.
What is it?
So there's this new thing called the Immaculate Grid. They have it for all sports. It started with baseball. So it's three columns and three... it's like 3 and 3.
Is it betting?
No betting.
Okay.
So on the top row, it'll say, like, for example... Cubs, Guardians, and then career 300 hitter. And on this row...
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yes.
It's
a lot of fun.
One of our producers upstairs, who's a big baseball guy, Tyler is his name, he does it. He's showing me. I love those.
It's so much fun.
It's a lot of fun. Now, what's great is instead of going with the obvious choice,
you try to pick the random
ones.
Try to
go 2 or 3 generations back. So
I know. Today I did it in my fastest time, 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
What was it today? Do you remember?
The top was Cubs, Angels, and World Series winner.
Cubs, Angels, World Series winner.
And then going down was Astros, Cardinals, and 300 saves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be 2. There's 2 names, right?
And we got a lot
9 names total.
But we got a lot to get to today.
Sorry.
Anyway,
everybody check out the Immaculate
Grid.
They have it for football, too.
I
haven't seen the football one yet. I've just seen the baseball.
They got basketball, football. It's actually a lot of fun.
It is.
It's just doing this live.
Go ahead, Mike.
We have the clip you just sent me on Instagram.
Okay, can you show it?
And we'll show it. Then we'll transition to the next part of this. But
okay.
Let's take the clip.
I saw this morning.
I don't want nobody listening. Anderson square. They're fighting.
Spin on the first and the third. Solid, I'm keeping my word.
This is what he was seeing as he took one to the face.
Jose Ramirez stock just went up. I would ask for a new contract if I was him.
Yeah.
I'd ask for a whole new deal. I rep my extension up.
Here's what I love. At a time when they've lost 7 of 9.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
They are in a death spiral.
Yes, they are.
Their season's over. It's gone. It's out of control.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jose premeditated any of or all of it. By the way, he slid hard and late into second base.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think the tag was particularly egregious.
Not in this case, no.
I mean, Jose, we knew what he was doing when he slid that late.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Jose does things that no other players can do. We see him run the bases and we're like, nobody else tries that. The way he'll take chances and he's always knows just when to go. I'm wondering if this wasn't Jose saying, it's a Hail Mary. Right. Our season is now, obviously they lost that game, but they were down big already. and then they blew it yesterday.
That was unbelievable.
I mean, that was a one-man thing, and it should have been a win.
Well, it was really a two-man thing because they had a guy playing first base who, Clase, I don't blame him, but Rocky, like if you had a decent first baseman, he might have scooped those balls.
Yeah, he would have probably.
But Cole Calhoun's never really played first base. No. So I don't know why they don't have a first baseman on the roster.
Well, I mean,
they traded Josh Bell. Josh Naylor's hurt.
Yeah, who else is going to play it?
Whoever's playing first base in AAA, call him up.
Thank you. Have
him on the roster.
Thank you, management. I mean, it's kind of an important position.
I mean, listen, I thought the season was over anyway.
It is over. It is, but I mean, in Jose's world, there's one thing that might light a fire.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
Now, it didn't work.
No.
But what if those balls had been scooped?
Right.
And they won yesterday 5-3 and go on to win 10 of 11?
Right. Yeah.
You don't know what the hell's going to happen.
They got a tough week too. They're playing Blue Jays and Rays this week.
Yeah.
So
this is the week.
It's going to get ugly.
Yeah. You could definitely put them in the ground this week.
Yeah.
We'll get to the next thing in 1 sec, but I do want to remind everybody, if they are not already a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, hit that subscribe button. Help us out. It does a lot of legwork for us in the YouTube algorithm. So hit that like button, be a subscriber, and also be a member. You got 2 tiers. You get that extra overtime content, so make sure you guys check that out. In general, Jay, when you look at the grand scheme of things here in baseball and really any sport, do you think fights like this are good for the growth of the sport?
Yeah, I'm with Bull. Very short-term bump in interest, but nobody's going to sit down and watch the Guardians game tonight that they haven't been a baseball fan, but now they're going to. So no, I don't think that they're good. Now, in the case of hockey, I do believe that hockey has had to transition from one kind of fan to another. And the fan of the NHL in the 70s and 80s were the guys that had shotguns and I hate to characterize here, but shotguns in the back of their pickup trucks, maybe some empty beer cans in the cab, and they were all about the violence of the sport. I had a lot of friends that were fans of the NHL in the 80s. When they tried to clean it up and take fighting out of it, they lost a lot of those fans. Now, they probably weren't hockey fans in the first place. They were fans of watching people throw hands. And it was prevalent back then. And they let them go. Like you said earlier, the hockey refs used to just skate back.
Right.
When the gloves came off, it was like they'd square up and they'd go for minutes.
Yeah, I don't think they have goons anymore, do they?
Don't. No, the sport has totally changed.
Yeah.
It's more of a finesse game, more European style, the way they've played it. And now the sport is still popular, and I don't think it's waned in any popularity, but it's a different kind of fan that watches it now. They're looking for the finesse. They like that side of it. Every time a fight happens, it's the most exciting moment in the arena. They still love that.
Yeah.
But so no, I don't think in general it's good for the sport.
It's so weird to me because, like, if you look at it, like when Myles Garrett was swinging their helmet, right? He got the rest of the year. Like they got him. He had to go to like counseling and like he had to do a bunch of stuff with that.
Well, but that was because it was a helmet, not.
Yeah,
I mean, Aaron Donald swung his helmet in training camp last year, and
it was like, oh, that's just what it is. Like, so we will condone a lot of things, like in the NBA, because they went in the stands once upon a time. They didn't headed it off so bad that they're like, if you step off the bench,
right,
you ain't got to be in it. We get you up out of here. So I've never understood how it is in hockey. They could just do that and they just get away with it.
It was just part of the game.
It was crazy. It was like, yo, I don't understand it.
Old-time hockey.
But other teams that do it, like it's or even baseball, you can, like if you bat flip somebody, you hit a home run. You can literally take a ball and throw it 100 miles an hour.
But you get suspended now for doing that.
But that was part of the game for years.
It was.
That was just what it was. And people would justify it and say, you never show up anybody. We don't play that here. I'm like, you just hit me with a baseball. What about you hit me with a baseball and I take this wooden bat and come beat you half to death with it?
Didn't Albert Bell run out to the mound once with a bat?
Players have done it way back in the day.
That's crazy to me.
Was it Campaneris for the A's threw a bat at a pitcher.
Yeah.
The pitcher ducked and it sailed right over his head, but he actually.
Well, Piazza kind of threw one at
Piazza
Clemens.
did once.
Yeah.
Look, that stuff happens when you've got a lot of testosterone flowing.
Yeah.
And there's a big moment and something like that happens. boys will be boys. But
Yeah.
I do think that the sports in general,
they don't want
that stuff.
None of the sports want it
NBA,
anymore.
That fight with Ron Artest,
Yeah.
actually punching a fan.
Yeah.
That might be the league's biggest nightmare, other than perhaps a player dying during a game.
Yeah.
Like a fan getting punched by a player,
or a player shaving points.
That too. Because now it's the integrity of the game.
Well, or worse, because my worst fear is even if I'm tackling somebody or somebody's messing around with me and they want to fight me, if I just hit them and they die.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Like they could just get brain trauma and be in a coma forever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wow, you just killed somebody when obviously they did hit you, but what could you have done to kind of de-escalate it?
Well, the thing with the helmet, too, I mean, that's a deadly weapon. When you're holding something like that and swinging it, if that hits in the wrong spot, it could be catastrophic. And that's why the league came down so hard on Myles Garrett. And I think in general the leagues have policed this kind of thing pretty well.
Yeah.
My fear is because there hasn't been something like this in baseball in a while, it might be on the heavier side.
I think it will be.
It could be 7 for each.
Yeah.
It got a lot of attention because of social media.
In general, fighting in sports is a bad thing. You don't want guys. I enjoyed this. You don't want it to become any kind of regular thing. It's not a good example to set for kids,
right?
Who are watching.
I'm with you. I enjoyed it in the moment, and I think everybody else did. That's why it was so widely shared on social media.
Yeah. By the way, in a bizarre thing, so I was watching the Cubs-Braves game yesterday, right? And Ronald Acuna got hit by a pitch and stared out to the mound. You say, well, okay, that's not a big deal. The bases were loaded. The pitcher would never.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know what the circumstance was in the game.
It was a close game.
It was a close game?
It was
Were
5.
the Braves up or down?
The Braves were down.
Okay, listen.
He didn't hit him on purpose.
Barry Bonds was famously walked intentionally with the bases loaded, and it was a smart play.
It was. They didn't do this on purpose.
It wasn't?
No chance.
What was it, a fastball or a curveball?
I don't even remember. But
that's always
it
interesting
hit him in the butt. I mean, but I think Acuna just got hit, and he was pissed, and then he realized,
when you get hit, you almost blank out on the situation.
Yeah, sure.
You're so pissed, particularly if it's in a sensitive area and it hurts.
Right. And you don't realize, and you're not thinking about what's going on in the game.
Yeah.
Did the guy do it on purpose?
I was playing in a game about 15 years ago in New Jersey, and we were playing against a team that had all young and just out of college guys. And their pitcher was from Boston College, but he was a third baseman. And we were winning, and they were out of pitchers. So they just put the third baseman in because he could throw hard. And I'm telling you, this guy was throwing in the 90s. He was young. He was probably 23, 24 years old. And he had hit 2 guys already. And in this league, they didn't have 3 guys hit batsmen and you're out.
Yeah.
The league I'm in now, if you hit 3 guys in a game, you're done. You're out. So they didn't have it. So they had hit 2, and he'd only faced like 3 or 4 guys. And I said to the catcher, the guy before me got hit, I said to the catcher, I go, should this guy be pitching? I mean, he's throwing hard enough that we're not going to be able to get out of the way.
Right, yeah.
And he's going to hurt somebody. And the very first pitch hit me in the helmet.
Ugh.
And my first thought was, and I jumped up and started to take a step out to him.
Yeah.
And, my teammates quickly came off because they knew something could happen.
Right.
I wasn't going to want to get to him. He was 6'4", 225. He was a massive guy.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I didn't care about anything other than you just threw a baseball at 90-plus miles an hour, cracked my helmet. It hit so hard.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you just don't even. You want to vent your frustration. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Go ahead, Mike.
Are we going to do the top 5 punches?
We're going to do the top 5 punches, and we have a community tab poll to put a cap on the top 5, and whenever we talk to the YouTube chat. It's brought to us by our dear friends at PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? Well, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Now, just a little caveat on how I rank these.
What are you going to ask the poll?
We asked if the Jose was the best punch in
okay.
baseball history, which we'll see if that beats.
You might get
Odor
some
versus
recency
Batista.
bias in there.
Yeah, a little recency bias, and maybe I'm a little recency bias. We'll find out in a sec.
Okay.
How I rank these: Malice at the Palace, obviously a great fight, but punching a fan does not count in these rankings.
I'm glad you didn't put that one
different.
in there.
That's not involved.
I'm glad you didn't put that one in there.
To start, though, I have 6, really. It's a top 5, but because 2 of these, in my opinion, are the exact same, but they were both such good punches, I needed to put them into one category. The first was Kermit Washington punching Rudy Tomjanovich. And this is a sucker punch, and you can take tag board here. It was a sucker punch. Maybe the most devastating single punch in the history of sports.
I don't even think maybe. I think it was.
But because it was a sucker punch, I couldn't name it the best punch in the history of sports outside of boxing because it was a straight sucker punch.
Right.
Tomjanovich had no idea it was coming. He ran into it. Kermit Washington threw it, but he crippled him, dropped him.
He destroyed
literally almost
Rudy Tomjanovich's face.
Yeah.
He
so
needed
that
major
was
facial reconstruction surgery.
He almost died.
I put that at 5A with 5B being Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole last year.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Another sucker punch situation.
See, I didn't know if we were going to go with that because it wasn't in an actual game.
It's on camera. It's in the situation of sports. I did include it. We have the video if you want to relive it. I don't think we need to. We'll relive the next ones. But both sucker punches, that's why they're lower on the list, even though the actual punch itself in each of those situations may be a little better than the punch.
I mean, it's easier to get a good punch in when you sucker punch somebody.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's why they put him at 5.
I would tell Draymond Green, I'm gonna get you when you. I would go to his kid's birthday party and punch him dead in his face.
His kid's birthday
right
party.
right when he's blowing out the candles, and I'll leave the gift for his kid. Like, I'm not. Listen, there's no way that you feel you're going to do that. See, Draymond Green feels like he can get away with stuff because he's the boogeyman of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I would jump him. I wouldn't even do it one-on-one. I get me and my brothers, and we throw trash cans at him. I jump off the top of my SUV and elbow drop him.
Top rope him.
Top rope him. I might destroy my whole lower body, but he's going to be hurt. And you can't call the cops because you're a thug, Draymond. You know, no cops involved. You can't say nothing.
Yeah, so that's why those 2 were 5A and 5B.
Yeah.
Similar situations, great punches, but you don't get bonus points for sucker punches. You actually lose points for sucker punches. So the next 4, were all mano-a-mano face-up.
We can respect these.
Yeah, and we start with number 4. I think the fight itself was better than any individual punch here, but the first punch Nolan Ryan landed on Robin Ventura when he bum-rushed the mound, one of the all-time greats. And we have a little video. If you haven't seen it somehow, if you weren't alive back in '93 and haven't seen the video in the last 30 years, this is the infamous fight here.
And Ventura, for a documentary that was recently done on Nolan Ryan, refused to talk about this. Which, to me, is incredible.
Yeah, he's embarrassed. You could tell he didn't really want to go to the mound.
No.
I think it was a principle thing, yeah.
Man, that was just crazy.
That first punch, though, was good. It was a better overall brawl than it was an individual punch. But that first punch.
He just cattle roped him, you know? I mean, this dude is, he has a cattle ranch.
He grown man strength. And look at that. Get over here. Let me talk to you something real quick.
Boom.
He's like, let me talk to you real quick, dog. Pow. Pow. Pow.
He got 5 or 6 of them in all at once.
It's over. He's done. Like, he had.
But you know, I think Robin Ventura misplayed it. Like, he should embrace it. I think the 2 of them should have an endorsement deal of some kind.
Right, but he's still bitter about it.
Like, there's got to be some product that the 2 of them can get together and endorse and make something good of it. And laugh at yourself, Robin. It's been 25 years.
30 years.
30 years, bro. Like, just embrace it. But instead, he's gone into the Batcave and he isn't talking about it.
Come on, man.
No, it is and like you said, he was a very good player.
He was a really good player.
You think about with him.
Ask any, and I told my wife this when I said, Tim Anderson, this is Tim Anderson's first paragraph of his obit will include this. And she's like, no. And I said, do me a favor. Go into Google and type in Jose Bautista and then stop. And within the first or second thing you're going to see is going to be punch. And I said, now do Robin Ventura. Same exact thing. Boom, there it is. Robin Ventura punch.
You can't escape it.
You can't. You're wearing it forever now like a bad suit.
Listen to the marketing dude, Robin. You do this is for testosterone replacement therapy. You say, one day I was in my mid-30s, or was he 20-something?
He was probably in his 30s there.
I was in
early 30s.
I was in my early 30s, and I thought I had it going on, and I made one mistake. I ran up against Nolan Ryan. He was 41, but nobody can tell me that man was regular. That was not regular grown man strength.
No, he's extra.
He had to be on testosterone replacement because he kicked my ass and took my name. And guess what? You can kick ass and take names too. It's called testosterone replacement.
No, how about this? How about we get Joey Bats, Robin Ventura, and Tim Anderson together?
Yes.
And they support whatever the national chain is for teaching karate.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're the three spokespersons.
Tiger Schulman.
For self-defense.
It's too early for Tim.
Yeah.
This is too fresh.
Yeah,
for
too
him.
soon.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Too
give me around 10 years. But he was like, listen, I would have stopped all that if I would have kicked him in his teeth. Karate is the place to be.
That's right. What's number 2?
They could be in a commercial
number
with
three.
the two guys from Karate Kid.
No, you guys remember the scene from Napoleon Dynamite? Did you see that movie?
Yeah, sure.
When Kip went to get karate, you know, and that I can't remember the guy's name, but he was all dressed in red, white, and blue.
Right, yes, right.
That guy was a great character in that. All right.
So number 3 gets points for the technicality of the punch.
Technicality.
It gets points for being shot in 4K slow motion video.
Yeah, that always helps.
It loses points for, despite being maybe the cleanest punch ever landed, not delivering a knockout blow.
That's got to be.
And that is Joey Bats.
Yeah.
And Roughneck Odor.
Yeah.
This was the punch seen around the world. It was so clean.
And wasn't it? It was a playoff game too, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it was a playoff game.
I thought it was a wild card game.
I don't remember
there's
now.
a date up there. Does that say May?
Yeah, May 15th.
Man,
so
I
definitely
don't know
not
why.
a playoff game.
Okay, I was watching it.
I think they did end up playing in the playoffs.
Oh, maybe.
And so it was a storyline.
The glasses, though, flying off of his head.
The worst part is the pat on the back. Hey, let's just live to fight another day, dog.
Now, by the way,
That was a real dirty slide.
that was as dirty a slide as you can get. And, Bull, I wanted to say this to you today.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this. How about baseball gods? Like, for anybody that's played baseball for their whole life, you know that there really are baseball gods. There just are.
I don't believe in any gods.
I believe in baseball gods. I believe if you hit the ball, this has happened to me countless times, have an 0 for 3 day, but you lace every single shot. You square it up. Third baseman makes a great play.
Yeah.
Left fielder dives and catches one in the gap. Shortstop jumps and takes away a gap double. Like, what is going on? Then the next game, you swing and you nub one down the third baseline that nobody can get to. It stays fair, and it's a liner in the book. You're 1 for 1. And then it all evens out. It's called the baseball gods.
Right, yeah.
I think Joey Batista disrespected the game big time. I'm all for the flair. I love but when his nickname's Joey Bats for a reason. He had probably the most memorable bat flip after a home run that I've ever seen.
Ever.
I don't know if you can find it, Mikey,
Yeah.
for those that haven't seen
Ever.
it, but that was his trademark. A lot of guys don't like that. The old school ball players, even today's players, there's a ceiling that you can't exceed, and he broke that threshold. That slide is one of the most disrespectful. You can end a guy's career doing that.
Yeah, that was
trash.
That was a terrible. And the baseball god said, "Oh, okay, you're about to catch one square in the jaw in front of God and everybody." Same with Tim Anderson. His reputation, even before this, if you ask around baseball, what's Tim Anderson's reputation?
Yeah, not good.
He's a punk.
Yeah.
That's what guys have called him. He's just a punk. And he got it. I mean, the baseball gods delivered it again. And I believe in that. I believe that, karma has a funny way of leveling the playing field.
Street justice.
Street justice is right.
All right, just like how number 3 benefited from 4K slow motion, number 2 is a devastating punch before the times of...
So it's blurry and out of focus.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We don't have video of this because it's so old, we couldn't find it. Well, we couldn't find it on Twitter to use it.
Right.
And that is the Dr. J haymaker
I thought that was
on
coming.
Larry Bird. He was in a headlock. Charles Barkley was holding him. He loses a single point for that. But the straight right he landed.
Oh, my God.
Now, Larry was being held up. I'm
was.
curious to know what would have happened if Larry was not being held up by Charles Barkley. I think he may have dropped him.
If
that
you look
punch
at the
was
Celtics
vicious.
and Lakers of that time,
They fought a lot.
Pistons, there was a lot of good fights.
All the time.
A lot of good punches.
Yeah.
Kareem and Bird
That
got
was the
into
most
it.
memorable, though, in that rivalry, in that particular rivalry.
Kareem and Bird had a good one.
They did have a good fight.
Bill Laimbeer had some good fights with people.
Yeah.
I think Laimbeer
The
and Bird
Pistons
had
and
a
the Bulls
fight.
had a few, too.
Oh, yeah.
When the power was changing hands in the East. God, I wish we had video of that because I know so many of our viewers have not seen it.
I know, and maybe we'll drop the link to the 6-minute YouTube clip in there, but we, just for legal reasons, if it's not the tag where we can't use it, it wasn't in there. And before we do number one, I want to read the results of our poll on our community tab this morning. We asked, was Jose Ramirez knockout punch on Tim Anderson the best punch thrown in history outside of boxing? 77% said yes. And you know what?
Don't, Mike.
In this time,
don't.
Based on the slow motion video,
Mike.
the fact he dropped him cold,
You weren't
I kind of agree with them.
Kool-Aid is now the sponsor of our
I
channel.
agree with them. I think it is the best landed punch in the history of sports.
It wasn't even, it was almost a glancing blow. It knocked him out. The results were great.
But the results
he
matter.
gets credit for Tim Anderson being soft.
That's it.
Yeah. That is funny.
That's good there.
The Sonic rings is deadly.
Yeah, that is.
Everybody has played Sonic the Hedgehog at one point in time, and you're rolling, doing backflips, tumbling.
That Rubio door punch.
That was my number one.
But it didn't drop him, though.
No,
it didn't drop him.
Hats off to Joey Bats.
Dude, Tim Anderson would have been dead if he got hit by Rubio.
By the way, here's what we're giving him credit for. Jose not only knocked him out, but he dodged two mean right hands.
That's true.
He did.
And on top of that, he was the one, he was just protecting himself. Old boy instigated it. So that's he got three things that happened prior to the whole situation.
By the way,
give some extra credit.
I saw in person, I may have mentioned it, I may have not, I don't remember, the greatest brawl ever. It was in a ball between the Batavia Muck Dogs and the Williamsport Crosscutters. Was the greatest brawl ever. Included in this brawl were Muck Dogs manager Frank Klebe and the Williamsport Crosscutters manager, who I think was former big leaguer Curtis Wilkerson, I believe, if you remember him.
Yeah.
All right? They squared up in the batter's box and were punching each other.
The
managers were punching. Everybody. First of all, the minor leagues is only 2 umpires. All right? So it was... And then Marlon Byrd, who played the end of his career for the Indians. Remember Marlon Byrd played big leagues a long time? He chased the guy down the first base line. The guy was so scared he ran into the clubhouse.
Good Lord.
It was bonkers.
Any video or no?
I should try it. I don't have any, but it might be somewhere. By the way, the whole thing started, most people would know this, whatever. The whole thing started because one of the guys on one team, I can't remember which one, hit on a girlfriend of a guy on the other team. That's how the whole thing started.
You know, I wondered when they said it's bigger than, when Anderson said it's bigger than this, I wonder if there isn't something that's happened off the field between
Jose
these two
bang
guys.
his wife or something?
Because he says it's bigger than this.
Did Jose pull a Rick Manning? Is that what happened here?
I don't know. We don't want to go down that road. I will say, so my very first baseball game ever, and this was to Mikey's question: does baseball need more fights? I'm as big a baseball fan as Bull, and as bigger than most people I know in terms of my fandom. I was 5 years old. My dad took me to an Indians-Tigers game at Old Municipal Stadium.
Right.
And a fight broke out between the Tigers and the Indians. Ray Fosse was hit by a pitch, charged the mound. Mm-hmm. Their pitcher came off the mound with his spikes and caught Ray in the hand and the neck. Blood everywhere.
Jeez.
The umpire at the time was quoted in the game story, because I recently looked it up because I was trying to figure out when did this happen. I think it was June of 1970.
Okay.
I found a New York Times story. The umpire, who had been umpiring in baseball at that time for like 19 years, said this is the bloodiest, goriest baseball fight I've ever seen. It lasted, in my child's mind, it lasted a half hour.
Yeah.
I mean, guys were coming out of the dugout with bats, and it was just, and we were sitting like in the second or third row, and we saw all of it. And I asked my dad, does this happen all the time? He's
know.
Like, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I saw one early 80s at Shea Stadium between the Cubs and Mets that was really good, too.
Oh, wow.
Ed Lynch was the pitcher.
Remember Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's that, Mike?
It is time to pivot real quick to football. And before we do that, I just want you guys to know we just booked Tom Hamilton for tomorrow. So we will have the one, the only Tom Hamilton on the show to break down his now famous call of Jose Ramirez fighting Tim Anderson. So we will have Tom Hamilton on the show tomorrow at noon to put a bow tie on that. And by then, we should know if Jose has gotten suspended and or not. I think we all expect him to be suspended.
We'll learn today.
So we'll know that by the end of the day. With that being said, we talked baseball for an hour. I think we covered the fight from every angle, every knuckle, every concussion possible. So let's talk a little football.
Real quick, in 5 seconds.
Shoot.
The Guardians are probably not going to be worth talking about for the next.
No, it's probably going to.
We're pretty much.
We just spent an hour talking about them.
That's probably going to be about it.
And that's probably
for the most
it.
part. 5 minutes here or there.
Thanks for the couple of months of baseball.
It's time. We're going full football now.
We'll see you in the spring.
And with that, Joe Thomas, he had his official Hall of Fame bust revealed over the weekend. They had the entire induction ceremony. Joe, well received as expected. Did you guys listen to his speech real quick before we get into the bust and the rest? What do you think about his speech?
I thought he seemed a little nervous. I mean, which is understandable, but I thought that he seemed just a little bit nervous. It was a well-written speech. It was fine.
I think he was very emotional, and it was, you know, I mean, that's you never know how you're going to react to that. Joe is so smooth all the time that I think because he wasn't maybe as smooth as he always is.
You know when I think he's best is when he's just on with us.
Yeah.
Just being a guest.
This was such a moment.
It was huge.
And I love that his wife and his kids were involved. It was so cool. It was so on brand for Joe. By the way, have you seen the pictures of his, what's his son's name? Jack, maybe?
Jack booing or
thumbs
Jack
down
thumbs down the field.
Fan. I love that.
So awesome.
Loved it. Kid was raised right, man. Kid was raised right.
I thought, you know, I mean, I thought Joe was great. I thought he gave recognition to the right people. I thought he came off awesome. I think he weighs less than Darrelle Revis now.
I think you're right.
You know, I mean, listen, there's nothing you can say bad about Joe. He by all accounts, I don't know him that well. I know him a little bit. Always been kind. He's nice to everybody, fans, media. He's just a class act all the way. Nobody worked harder. Great representation of Cleveland, of the Browns. He is 100 out of 100.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in these speeches, I think it's so hard to get it right. Like, because you don't want to come off too over the top, and you don't want to come off too gloomy. I know people that went up there and just had a cry fest from like 2 hours. You're like, bro, you made it. You did that's the highest pinnacle of your sport. Why are you crying the whole time? I just think it's really difficult. And plus, when you're dealing with Joe, who's like he's a humble dude. Like some people, some people be fake humble. Some people can act like they're humble, but they really got an ego. I don't think Joe Thomas has a very big ego, so it's difficult sometimes to kind of capture, you know, the correct emotion that you want, especially if you're a guy who doesn't have what we would say, you know, touchdowns, or he doesn't have interceptions, or he doesn't have any of those stats. What he does have is he's just like, I'm just better than everybody that ever came through at this position, and I work hard. I love my teammates. I want to be a good teammate. So sometimes it's hard to convey those things. I think he's glad it's over because he's not a guy that wants a bunch of attention. I think he'll be much more excited about it as the years go on. He'll be like, wow, I actually made it.
They usually say that you know, in the moment it's such a blur, it hasn't sunk in. Down the road when he makes his first visit to Canton and sees his bust in the display, maybe it might hit him then. I think for me, it was, and I heard from some of my friends that are national that live in other places that aren't Browns fans. One of them said, bro, I forgot how bad the Browns were. Like the one thing that it shined a light on was how bad we sucked.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got, I shouldn't say he, because 0% his fault, but the winning percentage of the Browns when he played games for them is the lowest winning percentage of any player in the Hall of Fame.
And that's what another friend said.
Right.
If he was so good, why were they so bad? And I'm like, bro,
that's a ridiculous question.
I know.
I mean, come on.
He was kidding, but
yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
He plays, you know, he plays a very important position.
Yeah.
But he's not throwing passes or catching passes.
They just never put anything around them.
They never put the pieces around him. Another friend said, damn, your management sucked. Like, you had a cornerstone at a position that's really hard to get a cornerstone, and you did nothing with them. All facts, all true. And it just reminded me, hearing him and other people throughout the ceremony talking, just how bad they were. And you almost, I don't know how you're that bad.
You think about it, and they actually he had some good offensive linemen around him during his time with the Browns. But if you look at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end that played with Joe, he never played with a special he never even played with an average quarterback.
No.
The only special wide receiver he ever played with was Josh Gordon, who destroyed his own career, and it was for really 1 year.
Right.
The only special running back he played with was Nick Chubb.
And that was for a very brief time.
And that's at the end of his career. And then tight end, he never played with anybody special. So, I mean, it's, you've talked about this a million times. They've just, and that's what we're talking about now to some degree. Now they've got Bitonio, who's probably has a chance to be a Hall of Famer. Myles Garrett has a chance to be a Hall of Famer. Nick Chubb has a chance to be a Hall of Famer. They got to win with these guys because they didn't win with Joe. They never went to the playoffs with them.
No, but what's really striking to me is, as I was kind of juxtaposing Joe's era to now, okay, you can almost understand how you can have a 25 winning percentage when you've got one all-time great player because that's all you have. What an indictment it's going to be on this team if at the end of all of this, Nick Chubb, Bitonio, and Myles Garrett all go in the Hall of Fame, because I think you're right. They're all arcing that way right now. What do they have to show for that?
Zero.
They have a playoff win.
One playoff win so far. Now, again, we got a couple of years to go.
No, listen. I know.
And they could go to the Super Bowl this year if everything goes well.
And then it would be fine.
But for now, to this point in time, it's been wasted.
Don't have 3 Hall of Famers go in there and say, these guys never did anything in the playoffs either.
I was just alarmed at how well, in that quarterback show on Netflix, my cousin had came over from Wisconsin, and he's a transplant from Ohio, but he lives in Wisconsin, so he lives in like the state capital, Madison, and he's like, he's like, I'm a Packer. We watch the Packers all the time. I watch the Packers and the Browns. And he said, I didn't even know the Vikings had won 12 games last year, and he was like, that just goes to show you, like, the Browns have been so bad. It's been hard to be that bad. Because if you watch their team, they got Justin Jefferson, and granted, they got Kirk Cousins, but
they had Dalvin Cook.
They had Dalvin Cook too as well.
I don't know. How do you not know they had 12 wins? They play in the same division as the Packers.
It's just like
I think his point is almost like there are sneaky teams that win a bunch of games. They didn't do anything in the playoffs. Remember, they lost in the first round.
Right.
And that happens all the time, but it never seems to happen with the Browns.
Never, exactly. It never happens. Like, if you know, like, could you ever say, hey, did you know the Browns won 12 games?
Yeah,
you gonna know it.
Yeah, they'll build a statue for that team.
It was just a random footnote.
That needs to change, and it needs to change immediately.
That's crazy, man.
Speaking of statues,
better change.
We had asked Joe when he was on the show about his bust. Was he going to go as Skinny Joe, Fat Joe, Bearded Joe, chugging a beer Joe? And I think the final result came out pretty damn good.
Oh, they nailed it.
And we can take it full here. We have 2 different pictures. Here's Joe with the bust. And we have a little more of a close-up if you want to see exactly what it looked like. But in my opinion, they nailed the facial features. That looks
They went with
like
the full
Joe
salad. I mean, they went with they gave him some hair.
Yeah, they did. And it's flowing, too.
Yeah, he's got the curl locks going.
Yeah.
That's a nice bust, man. They did it up.
Yeah.
Jim Donovan did a piece on Channel 3. It's about a 5-minute piece on the artist and Joe sitting down for like 8 hours.
Twice. 2 different days.
Twice. It was a lot of good behind-the-scenes footage. It was a really good piece. If you get a chance, it's on WKYC.com. It was well done. I thought all the busts looked really, really good. When I think statues, the one that comes to mind,
Ronaldo.
Yes, as like the worst. Like, what the hell happened there? Like how did someone was paid to do that? And it doesn't look anything like it. And the other one was Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. That statue.
That was terrible.
I think I don't know who they got to do it, but he wasn't a very good artist.
Nope.
That's important. That's forever.
Like, it don't go nowhere. It's just now. Here's who is
That's Ronaldo.
Jiminy, man, that looked like, oh my goodness, this is.
Wow.
That's the only time Ronaldo's ever not looked like.
It looks like a character from The
supermodel.
Walking Dead.
That looks like Skinny Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z.
I have no idea who that is.
The internet gonna be on fire because of that. That's gonna be fun. Make sure you cut that. That is Majin Buu.
Cut it.
That is Majin Buu, not Skinny Buu. It's Skinny Evil Buu when he absorbed Gotenks and Trunks. They're looking around.
I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
No idea. No clue.
That's going to shut it down, McNuggets. Trust me, Anthony knows what I'm talking about.
Anthony laughs. He gave a genuine chuckle as you said that.
Yeah, look, he was like, "Ha, that was great."
Is it nerd stuff?
It's just anime.
Oh, okay,
I remember now because Aaron said something to me the other day, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, Dad, G and Anthony would understand.
He know, yeah, I get it.
I can't remember what it was.
That's
but I
right.
was like,
Yeah, see, look, you gotta be in it.
Yeah.
It had to be
know.
Pokemon, right?
no, I don't think it was Pokemon. It was
No,
something else. I can't remember. I've got to try to think of it.
See, you gotta.
He'll remember.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
One more question on the Hall of Fame for you guys before we pivot on to our next thing. Do we still need, as a country and a league here, and it was cool because it was the Browns this year, but most years it's not the Browns. It varies every year who plays in the Hall of Fame game. Do we still need the game as part of the weekend-long
Yeah, of
ceremony?
course we do.
Yes, 100%.
I got that question, and I'm like, what do you have against the Hall of Fame game?
Listen, nobody.
Me personally,
let me tell you
I'll
something.
go last.
I got to say this. I want to go on a rant here because your former colleague Tim Calishaw made a. Did you hear?
I haven't heard that man's name in a minute.
Yeah.
So
I like Tim. Tim's actually a good guy.
I like
this
him in
is
general.
where it came
I don't
from,
know
by
him
the way.
personally, but I usually like him when he's on Around the Horn. He's one of the few I can stomach on that show.
I like him.
But he made kind of a not nice comment when he goes, when the power went out, which is a freak thing. What are you going to do?
No, I
mean,
know.
It happens.
Yeah.
He's like, they should take that
Well,
game.
hell, it happened at a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
So let's just remember that.
He said, why don't they take that game away from Canton and go to Pittsburgh? And then he was like, no, or maybe Cleveland. And I'm like, don't.
Okay,
Tim,
now that is a horrible
stupid.
take.
That's stupid. Listen, Canton, it's all about the Hall of Fame.
Listen, I'm so pissed that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for their induction, takes it to L.A. or New York.
Well, not all the time.
No, but most of the
sometimes.
time.
Sometimes,
they've commandeered it away from Cleveland.
That's right.
Could you imagine if baseball said, we're not going to Cooperstown this year, we're going to do it in
I
New
know.
York?
Not cool.
The coastal cities get enough crap. Like, why can't the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame every year?
If
you don't want to come, stay in New York.
Then you don't get in.
Stay in L.A.
Then
we don't care.
Then you don't get in. But I would say, listen.
Move it to Pittsburgh.
It's the
That's
birthplace
ridiculous.
of football.
It's so important to the city of Canton.
My God.
The whole thing, and the Hall of Fame is gorgeous. The stadium's beautiful.
Listen,
have you
what they've done, I was
around
over
it?
there for a week
Crazy.
last week, every day. It is an amusement park over there. They've got the old Ferris wheel that used to be at the IX Center.
Yep.
They've got zip lines. They've got another ride that's
There's
on
gonna be a
goalpost.
water park eventually.
Water park's going to break ground this fall.
Yeah.
It's going to be open next year. Like, it's literally a village. It's a football village. And
It's awesome.
I talk to a lot of fans from all over. You see gear from all 32.
Everywhere.
And I talk to people from Buffalo to Los Angeles, Seattle. They love it. They
come
love
in
it.
every year.
That's right.
It's like a pilgrimage to come to
100%.
Canton where it all began and to feel close to the Hall of Fame and to go through the actual museum and all of that.
Awesome.
So,
Don't mess
Tim,
with it.
I love Tim Kalishaw.
Yeah.
That's a terrible take.
I mean, especially Pittsburgh.
And the idea that they wouldn't play the game, like, it's not like it's the Pro Bowl. Like, I've got no use for the Pro Bowl.
No, that's a waste of time.
If you want to get rid of something, get rid of the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like, that's the game that I'm like, what the hell? Why are they even doing this? What is this
I
nonsense?
grew up in Canton. I could see the Hall of Fame dang near from my old house. Like, it's such a big thing for the city, and I'm glad that they're putting the money and the energy back into it.
I
Because
am
for
too.
a while, it was getting stale. But as far as the pilgrimage is concerned, I've never seen this in sports. Is the coolest thing in the world is being in Canton as a guy that lives there, and to see when people get inducted, and you start to see people in their Bills jerseys, 49ers jerseys.
Right.
Listen, hey, I took a picture with Ed Reed. And Ed Reed, I saw him at a gas station. This was before I even was
it's really cool.
He said, hey, big dog, where can we get some food at right now? I got my whole family. Man, this dude had 40 people with Ed Reed jerseys on, and people. It just shows you how much people love their teams that they would take the time out to go to Canton to celebrate somebody that don't even play for their team no more, to show their admiration, to show how much they meant to these people. And these guys are in the stands, and it's their wife, their kids, their grandchildren. And these guys haven't played for the team in years.
Right.
And by the way,
It's their football graduation.
It
all the
is.
people that say stupid stuff like that have never spent time here, because I know I have a lot of friends, and my wife has a lot of friends that had never been to Cleveland before they met us, or Northeast Ohio. I know we're talking about Canton.
Mm-hmm.
And every single friend and family member that's come to visit has said, wow, you guys got such a great life here.
Yeah.
What a great place to live.
I agree.
I have a friend I worked with in New York for a long time by the name of Peter Schwartz. He does work on CBS Sports Radio. You know Peter?
Yep.
Anyway, he's a huge Jets fan. He came into Cleveland. He went to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, took his whole family.
Wow.
His son is an aspiring long snapper in college.
Wow.
And he went to the Guardians game over the weekend. He had a ball here in Cleveland, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, did all those things, had a great time. Everybody that actually spends time in Cleveland or Canton at the Hall of Fame just loves it here. So it's only people that are ignorant and not willing to travel.
Yeah, I hate to hear that
say
kind of
stupid
talk.
stuff like that.
It's not going to die, I can tell you that. The league
and I love going to Cooperstown, too.
Cooperstown's
amazing.
If for those that haven't been, it's particularly in the summer, it's one of the most beautiful vistas that you can imagine. You come through the mountains, and then all of a sudden there's this gorgeous lake with a beautiful championship caliber golf course right there.
Yeah.
The old hotel, which feels like you're walking back into the 1930s.
Yeah.
The museum, the town, the village. It's
incredible.
Like old school America with the dome over it.
They don't have the game anymore, but I actually did play-by-play for 2 Hall of Fame games.
Oh, wow.
For our local station, because when I was working in Utica, we were only an hour away. So.
I love Cooperstown. I love Canton.
Yep.
Springfield. I've been to the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I have not been
Springfield.
to Basketball Hall of Fame.
Of the 3, it's my least favorite.
I'm not surprised.
There's a lot of guys in there that you're like, who? I don't know.
Well, because it's not just the NBA.
No, I know. It's
which doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Well, I mean, in truth, this is the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Right. And
so
it's the Major League Baseball Hall
and the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. So,
right.
I don't know. I really enjoy Canton. I love the game.
Don't
it's not
change
going
anything.
away.
Don't change
the
anything.
The light thing was unfortunate for
yeah,
sure.
of course.
But it happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
These things can happen. And it wasn't
real quick
ideal
before
for
we
sure.
go. One of my Ken Riley was a favorite of mine when I was a young boy.
I remember number 13.
And what a shame that he doesn't go into the Hall of Fame until after he's dead.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing about Don Coryell.
Yeah, it just sucks when that happens.
Yeah,
he was 4th all time in interceptions when he retired. When did he retire? Like 84, I think, 83. And he's still tied for 5th to this day.
Do you think baseball will put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame after he passes?
I don't know what they're going to do. Technically, it's that. By the way, that's not the writers.
No, now
he's not eligible to be voted. He was never eligible to be voted because they made him ineligible.
Right. He's never been on the ballot.
Right.
But it just seems to me that at some point he's got to be there.
Well, I mean, I think
especially now the game has embraced gambling the way it has.
Yeah, he still cheated at the time. Listen. They should have just banned him from being part of baseball and let him go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I would put the steroid guys in the Hall of Fame, too. And,
I would, too.
I mean, it's part of the history of the game.
Yep, I agree, and it all should be there. Go ahead, Mike.
So Joe Thomas was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and as they do every year, the list of guys eligible to be first ballot Hall of Famers next year came out this weekend as well. And here's just a couple of the guys who are eligible, some of the bigger names. We've got 10 or 11 to read here, but you have Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates, Eric Berry, Andrew Luck, Haloti Ngata, Steve, you take the next one, Jamal Charles, Brandon Marshall, Jordy Nelson, Doug Baldwin, Adam Pac-Man Jones, and Cleveland's own Phil Dawson. So let's have a fun little conversation, quick, but of those 11, in their primes, which one do you think would help this current Browns team the most?
Andrew Luck.
Ooh, you're going quarterback.
I mean, why not? He was tremendous.
He was, but since my assumption, and it's obviously a good choice, since my assumption is that Watson's going to play as well as Andrew Luck played this year, because he has in the past, then I would take a guy from a spot that I don't have a great player, and I'd take Haloti Ngata, who I think is if not a first ballot Hall of Famer, will probably be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the all-time.
He'll definitely be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he'll be a first ballot, but he'll be
but he will be. And he was the ultimate run stopper.
Yeah,
he was great. So I would take him.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, I always go to this thing called player eligible. It's like a future legend score. And so basically what they do is they take different things at different point totals, and they basically extrapolate it out and say, we're going to give you, say for instance, we'll give you 5 points for first team All-Pro, 3 points for second team All-Pro, 15 points for a first team all-decade team, so on and so forth. If you win a regular season MVP, they give you like 9 points. So basically, as you accumulate and rack up the points, obviously the more points you have is the highest you can get. So basically, when you look at that and you look at the years in inductees, Julius Peppers has 54 points. Antonio Gates has 38 points. Eric Berry, which I was surprised had that many points because he was injured a whole lot, had 32 points. Haloti Ngata had 27 points. And I think the next couple guys, I think there's a couple. Jamal Charles had 17 and Brandon Marshall had 14.
So who are you taking? Peppers
I would probably, man, if I got Myles Garrett and Julius Peppers, you might as well chalk it up. I mean, but we got two other guys I think are pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's had Hall of Fame defensive ends, both of them, maybe the Steelers at one time. But if you give me Haloti Ngata in his prime, and I got Dalvin Tomlinson and I got, Zadarius Smith. No, I lied to you. Give me Julius Peppers. I lied to you, dog. If you give
Nobody took Phil Dawson.
Phil Dawson has 7 points. 7. Now,
I don't know that I buy into that completely because, for instance, MVPs, like Andrew Luck played when Brady and Manning played.
That's tough to make.
And so it's going to be very tough to win an MVP and even be an All-Pro.
Yeah,
because there were such all-time greatest ever.
Andrew Luck's not going to the Hall of Fame because he didn't play long enough.
Yeah, I think he will go eventually.
Really?
I don't think he's not nowhere
I
near
don't
first
think
ballot.
so.
What did he play? 8 years?
No, not
6.
even.
Oh, 6.
And four Pro
They never
Bowls
did
out of
anything in
the
the
6.
playoffs. So
They made it to an AFC championship.
Did they?
I think
They did make an AFC championship. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He only played 6 seasons. In 6 seasons,
You can't go to the Hall of
threw
Fame.
171 touchdowns to 83
Dale Sayers
picks.
had a very, very short
That's a
career,
different.
but
Same thing with
running
Terrell
back.
Davis, but that
And he had 83 picks.
Yeah, he ain't going.
That's a lot of picks.
Yeah, that is a whole lot of
Yeah,
picks.
he's not going to the Hall of
Like,
Fame.
I
don't
mean,
think.
it's tough. It's tough.
He won
It's going to be
50
hard.
games.
enough. Just
It's
not
going to
long
be
enough.
hard with quarterbacks going forward because the numbers are so big now in comparison that, like, there are guys who are going to put up huge numbers that I don't look at as Hall of Fame. You look at, like...
Well, Phillip Rivers, if Phillip Rivers played in the 70s and 80s, he'd be a slam dunk Hall of Famer because his number they were doing that then.
Yeah.
But
well,
he
same
was
thing with
doing
Eli
that-
Manning. Like, he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, but
Yeah, he
only
will.
because he won 2 Super Bowls.
I mean, it's Phillip Rivers. I think he's borderline. If you,
I think Phillip Rivers is borderline too, but I'm saying he was a slam dunk rubber stamp.
Right.
If he put those numbers up in the 70s and 80s, but he was doing it at a time when there were 3 or 4 other guys at that
Matt
time
Ryan
that were doing
too,
it.
and I don't think he's going to the Hall of
there
Fame.
are a couple outliers like that.
28-3.
If you look at Curtis Martin, when they put him in, I said,
Well, he was number 2 in rushing yards.
I never thought of him as an all-time great back.
Like, if
No,
you
I
said-
didn't either, but he did it for a long time at a high level.
Right.
So Frank Gore is going there.
Yes, I think so.
I never think
on that
they're
standard,
compilers. They're compilers.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
At that position where your average lifespan is 3
That's
years,
true.
if you played 13 or 14 years,
Right.
what the hell? Because
Right.
Bull, as you know, there are guys coming out of the league out of college with fresh 21-year-old legs just dying to take your
I know.
job. And
Especially
they
now.
couldn't unseat these guys?
And this is why if I look at Dick Chubb, I say, look, he could do what Curtis Martin does. It's just about whether or not you have the stomach. Because think about it. Nobody was saying cut Frank Gore.
No.
They kept putting him on teams. He kept playing.
But he was productive,
He was
though.
productive. As long as Nick Chubb could be productive, and then you're like, yo, the money don't matter. I'm
Plus-
just trying to get somewhere.
Plus, Nick Chubb's the type of guy that people want in the locker room.
Right.
That's
And
the
he's
big
going to
part
work
of
his
that,
ass
too.
off. You know what he does in the
Yeah,
offseason.
yeah.
He lifts, there's shots of him squatting 1,000 pounds or whatever it is. The damn bar is bent like this.
I
he
think
works
Nick-
hard. He's going to be in great shape.
I think Nick Chubb has 3 more elite seasons. He's a Hall of Famer.
And I
think he's 3 more.
If there's anybody that would not mind being like, oh, this guy's a starter, I'll just get short yardage or I'll just be a second round. Like, you wouldn't keep Nick Chubb on your team as a second back
Sure.
When he's 30
when
and
he's 31. Like,
Hell yeah.
still kicking ass and being a great locker room leader.
There's a lot of chatter about him being traded
A
after
lot.
this year.
A lot.
I mean, I'm kind of like
I'm not buying any
I'm
of
not
it.
either. I'm looking at it like, what are you people?
And what are you going to get in a trade?
I know,
He's
there's
gonna
no
have to-
value for these
He's going to
guys.
have to take a pay cut.
He'll
if-
definitely
yeah.
have to take a pay cut. And I'm
Which
sure
he probably
he's
will
fine
do.
with that.
Yeah.
But like all this chatter about, oh, he's gone. They're trading him.
No, I don't
The
think
Browns have actually come out and said, look, we value Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
And there are exceptions to this. Running backs
Right.
can't be paid this much.
Right, but
and we think he's one of them.
He's on the books for $16 million. There's no way they're paying that next
They
year.
can't afford that.
And I know Joe Mixon's not as good as Nick Chubb, but Joe Mixon was smart. He's like, well, if I don't take a pay cut, I'm going to get cut, and then I'm on the market with Kareem Hunt and Ezekiel
Yeah,
Elliott
yeah.
and all these other guys.
To me, he's the and I've never done this in my life.
Yeah.
I have never attached myself to a person and said, under no circumstances do I want to get rid of this person. Like, I've always been a person that said, looks at the numbers, looks at the money, productivity, injuries, and say, okay, move on or not. For me, I believe he is so much of a asset to the team and the organization. There will be one day that people will look at Nick Chubb just like they looked at Jim Brown. Like, not to the extent of the cultural phenomenon, but when you say running backs in the Browns organization.
Well, he's got to deliver championships for that.
Yeah, but I will say.
And rushing title year after year after year. Like, that's a lofty. You're comparing him to the Holy Grail right now.
But here's the thing. The reason I don't. If we knew what Kevin Stefanski should be doing, there's no reason that he couldn't have had the rushing title last year or the year before. Like, they use him differently. Like, they have a system.
I just think in the end they're not going to pay him $16 million.
No,
I don't think anybody has a problem with it. I'm sure Nick's looking around. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, he's stupid.
And they could restructure it in a way where it doesn't look like it's a dramatic pay cut.
Yeah.
They can stretch it out in years. There's a lot of things they can do.
Hopefully they'll figure out. I don't want to see Nick Chubb off this team either. But.
No, but here's what I'll say. To your point, there are very few players that I look at as royalty.
Yeah.
Walter Payton, to me, had royalty status. Like, nobody in the game had a bad word to say about him. Yeah. He was great in the community. Hell, it's the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Yeah,
What better accomplishment can a player hope to achieve than the Walter Payton Man of the Year award?
I got so
Nick
sad.
Nick Chubb is in that
space. He is taking the mantle from Joe Thomas as the player on the guy on the
good guy,
good
teammate, tremendous talent. Never is a problem. If you had 53 with his mentality, work ethic, and attitude, you got a Super Bowl.
In terms of winning a championship, I mean, that's not on him.
No,
in this day and age, you got to have the quarterback.
When you start comparing him to Jim Brown was so great. Jim told the team, hop on, I'll take
different.
You
You can't win that way.
No,
now.
I know it's totally different now.
Right.
I mean, if he was a quarterback, maybe, but he's not. No. And it's funny. We've buried the running back position, dead and gone. They're never going to be a factor again. I don't believe that. I believe that everything is cyclical.
I kind of
there
believe
will
that
be
too.
a defensive coordinator, maybe it'll be Bill Belichick, an offensive coordinator who looks at things, and just like Bill did with the tight ends, defenses were being built to disregard the tight end. What did Bill do? He went and got two very athletic tight ends that could do things that nobody else could do at that position. Mm-hmm. And now all 31 defenses across the league were built to not have to worry about those guys, and he exploited it. The same thing is there will be a renaissance at the running back position.
I don't see
it will never be the most important position in the game again.
No.
But it's not going to be devalued to the point where they're sitting on a trash heap right now and can't get jobs.
Right.
That's nuts to me. All right, Mike.
We got to transition here, and I got to give you guys a little behind the scenes of what happened with our 32 and 32 series. I'm glad we're talking about running backs because that plays right into the next player in our now out of order 32 for 32. So before I tell you who our 32 for 32 player is today, I got to tell you what happened while I was gone. I gave Anthony and Earl very simple instructions. You start at 32, you go to 31, you go to 30, and we work our way backwards all the way up. We have a spreadsheet. I have my rankings. I have Anthony's rankings. I have Earl's rankings. I wish I could show you guys my screen, but just to paint you a picture, the rankings are numbered 1 through 32. My name's in orange. The whole top line is in orange. Anthony's name's in orange. Earl's name's in orange. Then I have total order in green. Why? Because that's probably the total order. So on the fourth column of this spreadsheet, and just so you guys can see, I'm going to hold my laptop up. I don't know if you can see colors. I don't have enough hands to move.
I can hear Earl laughing in there.
Yeah, Earl's laughing. I only have 2 hands. I need 5 hands to move the camera and adjust. But just so you know, everything's in orange. Anthony, would you like to hold this up for me while I'm doing this? The top line is in – yeah, you're not going to see it, whatever.
We can't see it. Don't worry about it.
Top line's in orange. Green is for total.
Yeah, green is the number that you're going to focus on.
Yes. Instead, Anthony and Earl were looking at the total or the players ranked properly, but instead of looking to the right at the total of the proper order –
that explains a lot.
They were looking at the left to Earl's order. So they were looking at the players – not in the total aggregation of it all.
Right.
So we have done numbers 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 22, 17, 19, and 14 so far. By accident.
It's funny.
That explains it.
First of all, I was saying all last week to the knucklehead twins.
Who did this list? We kept saying it for Friday when I was in.
This doesn't seem right.
This list is way off.
This too high. This guy's
too high. This guy's too low.
This guy should be way higher than
now
this.
we get it.
So, yes, they were not looking at the aggregated. They were looking at the aggregated list of players ranked with the numbers with someone's individual list and trying to make it work.
What you're saying is Ernst & Young were not involved.
Right.
There were no accounting firms.
Here's what make it worse, though. Here's what make it worse, because Will said it about 2 or 3 times, who made this list. And pre-production, while me and Anthony was preparing for the show, I turned to Anthony and go, man, this list look weird. This list don't make no sense, but I'm not here to question it. I'm just here to do my job.
You should have questioned
I was like,
it.
Mike makes the list. I don't know. I just screenshot it and took it from there.
Jeez.
So the way
that
Anthony
explains so much,
the
though.
way Anthony screenshotted it was he had the numbers to the left and the player to the right without having any of the total column in the screenshot they were reading off of. So
God.
For people who were like, how is player X so low? Well, he wasn't. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go.
I think the whole thing has to be scrapped now.
Well, we can't do 32 and 23 is the issue. We're committed to the bit 32 for 32. So we're going to go with the players we haven't used. And today is Jerome Ford. And we're going to fill in.
Wait a second.
Yes.
So give us what the guys they've already done. Tell us where they should have been, and then start with the lowest ranked guy that we haven't done yet.
And
right?
that is what we will do.
Okay.
Starting today.
But can you tell us where those guys should have been that they screwed up?
Yes. So Cedric Tillman was properly put at 32.
Okay.
Jordan Akins properly put, or Atkins. Is it Atkins or Akins? I get it wrong every time. Akins. He was number 31. That was correct.
So there was already a mistake made, but okay, that's by you guys.
No, those two were right. We did those at the
No, but it's a mistake because Jordan Akins shouldn't be in the top 32. But go ahead.
Jack Conklin was number 30. Taki was number 29. Next, Steve. McLeod was 28. This is where it's wrong. This is how we did it. This is not the order. Cade York was technically.
Anthony Walker had to be way higher.
Anthony Walker was 24. Cade York was 19.
Okay, I thought Cade York was way low on that. Pochich should have been higher too.
Pochich was 25. No, Pochich was right actually.
No, that's wrong. You guys are wrong. Okay,
Anthony
go ahead.
And DPJ, which is on the next one, and I guess they did DPJ on Friday. DPJ we had at number 18.
That's even worse.
Yeah, we thought he was too high at 24.
Man.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
explain that. Tell me that.
You missed Friday's show. You have to go back and pull Friday's show.
Yeah.
So our rankings for DPJ personally, I had him 21st, Anthony had him 14th, and Earl had him 20th. So when you average those together, Anthony, you want to tell
was
him why
Anthony
you had DPJ
smoking
at 14th?
crack when he came up with this
I
list?
don't know what happened to those lists. This has been the worst promotion in the history of promotions.
And it was the easiest.
It was. There
it's
was
like 30. Pick 32 people and just pick them from worst to best.
By the way, I got to know who Anthony had 15, 16, 17, if he had DPJ 14.
Anthony, can I read it? Are you cool with that?
DPJ love.
He had Delpit 15th, Jed Wills. No, I take that back. Sorry.
Yeah.
See, you can't read
See, Mike can't
Delpit, he had
This is a
Delpit at
disaster.
16. He had Delpit at 16. Who did you have at 15, Anthony?
I would like to go on record. He can't read
Oh,
his own
he had Cade
spreadsheet.
York. No, I just don't have it sorted in that way. He had Cade York at 15.
Okay. Cade York 15, Delpit 16, and who at 17?
Thornhill.
Yeah. I think those guys are all more important than DPJ, but whatever.
I just want to say it's the effort from us that count.
No,
we
it's not.
came in.
We're all giving
did what
effort.
we had to do, and we put forth the best effort that we possibly could.
That's not true.
How do you justify Anthony Walker at 26 when he's the
Hey, listen
only
here, G.
backer?
You didn't even want him on the team, man. Back up.
That is true. G was the king of just the guy.
When I found out that they weren't getting no more linebackers, I was like, I need a pulse out there. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I might be the Duke and D jerk, but I ain't dumb. You got to at least line somebody up out there. Who you got?
I don't trust Walker to stay healthy for 17 games. I just don't.
But
That's why I had him so low.
But that's the point. If he does not stay healthy for 17 games and he does not play, the Browns are in trouble.
By the way, secretly, we don't know this. We'll get to it later. Anthony apparently had Austin Hedges 8th on this list. And number 1, I just heard from Mike that Earl has Donovan Mitchell number 1 on the Browns list. He's had a better season than Joe Thomas has ever had.
All right, so for today, though, we do have Jerome Ford. He is next up on our list.
Guys, this has been a great segment.
Yes.
I told you right now. Steve, can we clip this and get this to the Emmy folks immediately?
Immediately. This is it.
This is how you do a show.
This would blow the Emmy folks. After seeing some of the stuff there, this would literally blow their minds.
This is how we do it.
Jerome Ford, though, in all seriousness.
Instagram, there's somebody named Howie, and his last name is Dewitt, Dewitt. And the Instagram post just has his picture and the song playing, This is how we do it. It just killed me when I saw it.
Oh, my God.
G. Bush, I'm going to ask you as the consumer of the most Browns Kool-Aid on this panel.
Okay.
Is 500 yards, 5 touchdowns realistic for Jerome Ford this year?
500.
He better
Kareem
get
Hunt
that.
had close to 500 last year.
No, he better get that.
500 yards rushing?
He's
Rushing,
he's the number 2 running back. I mean,
412.
No, he ain't
412,
500 yards
that's
rushing.
412.
well, listen, 500 yards rushing sounds like, it's not that much. Per game, what is it, 30 yards a game?
Yeah, but how many backup running backs average 30 yards a game?
Well, what did Kareem Hunt have?
487 last year.
Okay.
But he and Kareem Hunt.
That's Kareem
He's
Hunt.
out of a job right now.
And Kareem Hunt didn't have 500 yards.
I give him 412 and maybe 4 touchdowns, but that's if.
I love the specificity. 412 yards.
The Browns,
not 10, not 420.
the Browns are going to throw the ball at a higher clip than they ever have, I think.
And they talking
I think
about.
they are too.
They're talking about not letting Jerome Ford be automatically third down running back. Like they're like, we'll use Nick Chubb on third down. When Stump Mitchell said that, I was like, well, dang, I haven't.
I love to hear that.
They'll have another back.
Guy averages 5 yards a carry. I mean, if it's 3rd and 6, maybe he shouldn't be out on the field. But if it's 3rd and 5, why the hell not?
But I haven't seen. Have you seen Nick Chubb drop many footballs?
He dropped one in the preseason.
What do you
game,
mean?
I think.
Like people say he's not a good pass catcher.
He did. Well, I don't think it's fair to say. Now, in the playoff game against the Chiefs, he did drop a couple of passes in that one.
Yeah.
If you remember.
He's not
They
known
just
as a
don't throw
pass
it to him
catcher.
a lot.
Yeah,
he never did in college. They didn't do in the pros. I don't know that he's.
He caught a really nice one.
I'm sure he can. I think they'll throw to him more this year.
I hope
Baker
so.
threw a nice pass to him in the end zone against the Bengals. It was in the left corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
It was almost a fade. He actually was tied up with the guy. They both went to the ground. They gave the catch to him. I thought that was a nice catch. He can catch screen passes. I think he's an average pass catcher. I don't think he's below average or anything.
No, he's just not known as a pass catcher because he's such a good runner.
Yeah.
And they don't use him that way. Now, they haven't had to because Kareem Hunt was in the backfield in the past. But maybe they will try to get him the ball
My
out of the
opinion,
backfield
he
more.
will touch the ball. He will touch the ball, including catches, at a higher percentage of plays, of running back touches than ever, in my opinion.
Good, he should.
And
that's what we've been arguing for.
But for the second guy, I'm not convinced like Ford is going to be the flat-out second guy and there's nobody else. No, I think he will be the primary second guy, but I think there will be other guys who will get an opportunity. This kid Kelly has been with the Browns. John, right? Is it John Kelly?
Yeah, he's
been
good,
around for a while. Like he's a bigger back. I could see him. I could see them doing a thing where, like, one time in a half they make him the first second down back to give Nick Chubb a breather. I could see that, him getting some carries. Or maybe there's somebody out of left field right now.
I think Ford's going to have a good year, guys. I really do. I like Ford. I think and look, if he's productive, and that's how you can spell Nick Chubb.
Sure, but
because God knows he spends a lot of time on the sidelines.
I just think he's going to be more a threat in the passing game than the running game for me.
I think he's a home run hitter too. I think he could break 75 yards.
Right, but if you get him out
time,
right, but if you get him out in space in the passing game, he's more likely to do that.
Much more likely to do that. Yeah.
I don't know why I like Felton. I don't know why.
He looked good Thursday.
I like him too.
He looks like a guy to me that the light bulb turned on.
And he can catch passes.
You know
certainly,
what though? This goes back to the running backs are almost interchangeable part of this.
Yeah.
with Dearness Johnson, we were like, oh, this got Pro Bowl guy.
I think he would have been a Pro Bowl if they would have gave him the carries.
Well, we'll find out now, right? Who's he with now?
Jacksonville. He's not going to play.
No, probably not.
He's like their fourth back.
But here's the thing. Here's what's so crazy about this, guys. We like Felton.
Yeah.
We like Ford. We like Kelly. Maybe they are interchangeable. I don't know.
I mean, to some degree.
I think there's a select few that are special.
Yeah.
Chubb's in that group. Henry's in that group. Taylor, I think, can be in that group. But other than that, like, these guys all seem to be pretty effective. So maybe the GMs are right.
I asked him before the game, or not before the game, before the show. I asked McNuggets and Bull, I said, would you trade for Taylor?
No.
I wouldn't.
It's not an area of weakness for us.
That's the crazy.
See, if I were going to do that, if I wanted that.
Well, I looked at it like this. Think about how crazy they're diminished. You could say that about any other position.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Receiver, if you had a
top three receiver, hell yeah, you trade for him.
If you had Embiid, you wouldn't trade for Jokic or vice versa.
No.
But part of the reason I wouldn't trade for him is that I could just sign Dalvin Cook, and I don't have to give up anything.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is.
I mean, hell, Zeke is still out there, and I'm not sure Zeke isn't.
But Dalvin Cook was still great last year.
I know he was.
Zeke's in decline.
So
he still should be on a team. He's in decline.
Still works the same way. Say you didn't have to give up no picks. You could just give up money. Would you pay Dalvin Cook $10 million?
No.
See, this is what I'm saying.
would.
I would not.
I would.
Not with Nick Chubb on my team.
So all right. If you're saying
hell,
right,
we
I wouldn't. I changed my mind.
We watched that movie for the last couple of years.
Right. Yeah.
With Hunt.
I wouldn't. No.
So if there's one thing you don't want to have, and that's a log jam at a position that everybody seems to be saying,
right. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But I wanted to sign DeAndre Hopkins, who's not as good as Dalvin Cook.
That's a different situation.
Right. Different position.
That's what I was just.
You got three pass catchers on the field and a lot of
plays. At wide receivers, you're rotating more guys.
You wouldn't do it at corner. You like, think about it. If you say, for instance, Jalen Ramsey came, he was available. Obviously,
you're right. I like our corners. See, I like our defensive back.
That just goes to show you how running backs are viewed. That a guy like Dalvin Cook, who is lethal, these ain't no chumps on the market. Jonathan Taylor has legit home run hitting. If you miss me, I'm gone. And think about if you could pair that with if I'm the Miami Dolphins, why haven't you moved? If I'm the Buffalo Bills, why haven't you moved?
I don't know why those teams haven't signed. I don't
either. I think they're waiting.
I think teams want Cook, but he's probably asking for more money than anybody's willing to give him.
Yeah.
Whereas Zeke and Kareem Hunt, who knows? I mean, Kareem Hunt, we finally heard something about him. He's working out for the Saints today.
Wow.
Because Kamara got suspended 3 games, and Eno Benjamin got hurt for the year.
You know what? You know, to me, I look at the climate of the NFL. Maybe guys that used to utilize and know how to use these dudes to the maximum potential. Maybe they're not in the league no more. Because, like, if you think about it, nobody is running like the ball like that. The Browns were like
Baltimore and Chicago.
Chicago, and the Browns run the ball a lot.
Baltimore won't this year,
and they won't this year.
I bet
the Browns might not either this much.
They wouldn't have got Odell Beckham. When you give Odell Beckham Jr. $18 million,
Baltimore's going to sling it around.
And guess what? When he get $18 million, you know he want the ball.
Oh yeah, otherwise
he wants the ball no matter what he's getting.
But now he's a.
You're right. I mean, he's going to be louder if he's not getting.
Why you give me this money if you brought me in here to block?
Yeah. By the way, you know Xavier P on Twitter.
Yeah,
he wants to bet me that Justin Fields is going to have a better year than Trevor Lawrence.
That's kind of a sucker bet.
It is.
I mean, I obviously feel if he's ever going to explode, it has to happen this year.
And Fields can run the ball. So even if he throws for 3,000,
right,
which is light, 3,000 is light, but he gives you 1,000, automatically his numbers look crazy.
Right.
And
is it better fantasy or better overall?
Overall.
I think it's the same thing.
I don't think there's any team in the NFL that would take Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence.
I don't either, but I wouldn't take that bet. I wouldn't.
I'm not going to bet. I don't bet with fans.
Yeah.
But
I'd make a gentleman's bet on it and say, listen, I think that Lawrence is going to have a great year, and I think Fields is going to continue to be the guy that he's been. However,
Yeah.
what we've seen in the NFL, particularly for young quarterbacks that struggled initially, they do break through their ceiling. We've seen guys take a huge step back
Absolutely.
after they've done that.
100%.
And I'm still not convinced.
But none that came in with the pedigree quite this high.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Carson Wentz came in, people thought, but he played at a small school. I mean,
Right.
Trevor Lawrence,
He was
everybody
a
thought was gonna
Heisman
be-
winner
yeah.
and a national champion.
And that
wasn't he?
situation with Urban Meyer was as bad as it could be.
But is he
That first year.
Is he disappointing? Has his career, because he was Andrew Luck.
Trevor Lawrence?
Yes.
No, it was disappointing prior to last year.
I mean,
he turned the corner for me.
I thought he played great last year.
I thought he played great in the playoffs,
and
too.
now he's got even more talent around him.
Yeah,
So
he's
met expectations.
But here's what I want to see: how does he adjust to the adjustments that the league made?
That's
against
right.
him? Because that's what the big question, even on Deshaun Watson, is. And we saw the other guys that have come through and had a lot of early success, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
This guy just got bad all of a sudden.
And there's pressure.
It happened to Baker, really.
And nobody had any expectations last year. Now they're the overwhelming favorites to win their division because their division stinks.
That can be tough.
So we'll see.
Got a lot more pressure.
Mikey?
All right, we're going to get to our last thing here. We're going to save our Ricky Rubio conversation for tomorrow. We will get to that because the Cavs do have a hole now at backup point guard. But we're going to get into some of my random thoughts and ideas and stuff from vacation. Before that, just want to remind everybody, if you're not already a subscriber to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps us out in a long, long way. And also, you can become a member. There's 2 tiers, $1.99 is starters tier, $4.99 is coaches tier, and that gets you all those extra perks that the regular people do not get. All right, so as you guys know, I returned from Europe. It was a tumultuous trip there. It took me 39 hours to get to Europe.
Did you just make up a word?
Tumultuous?
Tumultuous is.
I thought you said tumultuous.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. All right, so on the trip, I had some sports takes, some just thoughts. I want to give you the sports takes real quick. You guys have already talked about these. Just want to give you my 2 cents.
Go ahead.
I watched the Hall of Fame game at 3 a.m. in German time.
Wow.
We had just got back from the bar. It was on. Perfect timing. I fell asleep in the second half, but rewatched it. DTR is better than Kellen Mond. I don't think it's anywhere close. I also thought DeJuan Jones was really impressive. You guys talked about that. We'll go on. Okay, first random thought. German toilet paper, trash.
Rough, right?
Absolute. It made single-ply American toilet paper look like a luxury.
By the way,
Is it the consistency of a paper towel?
it was harder. It was like sandpaper.
Rough.
And I took a shit in the Czech Castle.
Yeah.
And that thing was luxury.
Speaking
But
of
taking
which,
a crap anywhere in Germany, just be careful.
Speaking of which,
at your own risk.
listen,
Should've
toilet
traveled with
paper is
dude wipes.
disgusting. I use dude wipes, but you know what I'm having installed as we speak?
What?
A bidet.
Are you really?
Well, it's not.
You look
quite,
like a bidet
So
guy.
a bidet is like an entire toilet.
Yeah.
This is what I'm having installed is called a washlet. It's
combination
just
of a toilet.
It's attached. It's a new seat for your current toilet, and there's a sprayer. I got a remote control.
Bro.
Oh, Jesus, God.
To move the-
I want video. I got to see video of this damn thing.
Nope,
game
we do not
changer.
want Bull's ass on
Not
video.
while he's taking a shit. I want video of it in operation.
okay.
I
thought
am
you wanted,
never
like,
going to use
live
toilet paper
play-by-play.
again. Toilet paper's disgusting. Think about it. If you accidentally got some shit on your
Oh, Jesus.
If you accidentally got some shit on your arms, would you wipe it off with a paper towel or would you wash your arm? You'd wash it.
The only way this makes sense is the only way I'm going to give you credit.
Wash with, baby.
Oh, my gosh. The only way I'm giving you credit
My
for this,
bad.
my G,
Yeah.
is if that's a mixture, if that is a mixture of soap, water, and disinfectant inside that spray.
Yeah, what does
Because
it hit you with? Just
No,
straight
it's just water.
That ain't it.
But it can be hot or cold.
Water don't get it done.
Well,
You
I could put some soap in there. I mean, some soap.
What is it? What are they adding? Just another water line or what?
Yeah, it's a water line, like right under it's right under the back part of the seat, and it sprays up into your ass.
That is some tainted
Beautiful.
water.
I don't have to use toilet paper anymore.
Who's installing this?
My next door neighbor owns a plumbing company,
Oh, okay.
and so his guy who's
Let
been to our
us
house-
know how. I'm sure you will.
This is gonna be a game changer for me.
I'm
no
on
doubt.
the edge of my toilet seat. I'm
Hey,
waiting
if I
bowls.
just catch you, if I just catch you on the
Quote,
toilet,
this is gonna be a game changer
Hey,
for me.
if Bull, you on that toilet seat without going to the bathroom, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about
Does this mean you will no longer have to shower after every Duke? Because you currently,
Right, I shower after every time I poop.
which is
Hey.
one of the most fascinating things I've learned about you.
Bull?
If he's dropping kids, He is taking off every stitch
That's
of
it.
clothing, getting into the shower.
Yeah.
Speaking of
What a
bathrooms.
disruption of your day. Holy
Speaking
cow.
of bathrooms.
Sorry, Mike. I hijacked your.
No, you're good.
travel
This
story.
is right on par with my next
Yeah.
one.
That's
So
very intimate. Just water. Just every day. Just, yeah.
on this trip,
Love it.
Yeah.
I spent time in Germany and the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
And you would think in any language in the world, there's a universal sign for men's room and women's room. Well, there's not. Some in Germany had words. It's Herren and Deren, which if you don't know which is which, I had no idea. So me and my brother walked into Herren. It turns out that's the girls' room. Whoops. There were some signs.
Well, it makes sense. Her is in Herren and Darren is a dude.
Not a single thing in the German language makes sense when you translate it to English. Trust me. Like in
Did you
theory,
use Google
sure.
Translator at all?
We were
That's
about
the greatest app ever
yeah,
invented.
but we were about the 10th glass of wine in on a wine tour,
okay, so
and we
you-
had really had to go. So just
A lot of people speak English in Germany, though, right?
They do. Yeah,
No,
almost
what
everyone
happened
did.
when you walked in? Phil, like,
No one was in there. We left and we came out. My sister goes, "Why'd you just come out of the girls' room?"
Well, how long has your sister been living in Germany?
4 years now, and she's currently totally fluent, completely. She got a master's degree in German, so
That's
she is
cool.
totally.
Is it inappropriate to say Mike's sister's cute? Is that inappropriate?
Yeah, we're not going to go down that line right now.
no, I haven't seen
I'm
her.
not saying anything gross or
No,
nasty.
that's a compliment.
Your sister's cute.
Thank you.
I'll be the judge of this.
I've never seen a
I've
picture
never
of her.
seen her.
We're not getting no. We'll show you guys offline.
Hey, McNugget said we ain't going down this path, man. So we ain't going down this path.
Well, I'll show you guys. It's a whatever. It's on. I tweeted it out. You guys go to my Twitter. You can find it there. But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
other
we're
ways.
right now.
So there's other signs. Like one was a skinny person and one was a larger person.
Larger person was the man.
Yes,
Makes sense.
but like when you're drunk and you're looking at that, it does it. There should be a universal bathroom sign. I don't care if I'm in Asia, Europe, Russia, Antarctica, America. There should be
Listen,
one universal
The
bathroom
way
sign.
we're going, men using women's rooms and saying, "Hey, it's okay, I'm a chick." Like, I don't know that any of that matters anyhow.
Nobody's doing
Here,
that.
let me see that. Let me see. Is that the picture?
Yeah.
She's just hanging out. They're just hanging out.
I mean, it's hard to tell she's got a hoodie on, but, you know.
Oh, wow, that's a beautiful scene, though.
It is a
Where's that?
beautiful
The Alps behind you?
We were in the Alps. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
crazy.
gorgeous.
Mike's got all comfortable. We're not saying anything perverted, Mike.
No,
Come on.
I'm not worried about you guys. I'm
She's
worried
very
about
cute.
Yeah,
She's very cute.
she was
Yeah, I
impre-
wouldn't want to put my
I'm
sister's
sorry.
She was a
picture up
D1
there.
athlete. Like it goes.
What did she
you know.
play?
She was a
Track?
ballerina.
Ballerina?
Yeah.
That's a D1 sport? Ballet?
Yeah, you get full D1 scholarship. She's the only
Shut
D1
up.
full scholarship. Yeah, Butler University, Indiana.
For ballet? Mm-hmm. Is there a ballet championship?
I have no idea, but she was a professional ballerina for 4 years and
Good
then
for
decided
her.
she didn't want to do it, moved to Germany, got a master's, and is now working in event management. So,
Your
all right,
parents
back
should
to
be
this.
proud.
In Europe, they
Raise
like
good
coins.
children.
Are we still in the 1700s? Who the hell wants to carry on a coin purse?
I know.
Like, euros. I don't want one. Give me a $1 bill or a €1 bill. Coins don't fit in your wallet. They make your wallet fat. They make it clunky. They don't fit in your pants.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of coins. Let's get rid of all coins.
I'm for
And
that.
I'm sick. Who
I'm
carries a coin
surprised
purse
German.
around?
It seems like Europe is way ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm
like that.
surprised too. I would
Yeah.
think that they would be like using completely digital money anyhow.
Right. That is weird.
Another thought. I met a great guy named
for
Connor
you.
on the trip. We did a pub tour. He was from New Zealand. He kept saying the words mate and lad. That's just so cool. We should use the word. mate and
Yeah,
lad
you're
way
right.
more.
I like
Yeah.
mate. It's not. We don't use it enough.
I saw so much sports gear, American sports gear over there. Literally every team you can think of except anything from Cleveland. I didn't see a single Browns jersey, Guardians hat, Indians hat, Cavs. I saw a LeBron Lakers jersey. I didn't see any Cleveland stuff, and I saw stuff from every other random city. So we got to get Cleveland to infiltrate the Czech Republic and Germany.
Absolutely.
Also, Mercedes,
Yes.
the car brand,
Yes.
they make the garbage trucks, the school buses, the public transportation
Everything.
buses, everything in Germany.
Yeah.
And I know it's in German. Mercedes isn't the same like high class car. They have really nice cars, but it's
Yeah.
more commonplace. Seeing a Mercedes 18-wheeler will never not look cool, or a Mercedes garbage truck
Yeah.
will never not be cool. This pissed me off. This really irritated me. Do you know people in Germany don't call Germany Germany?
What they call
We're the only country that calls them Germany. They're Deutschland everywhere else in the world. Seriously? It's not a joke. Every country should have one name, just like there should be a universal gender sign.
Why don't we? Why doesn't the rest of the world call them what they want to be called?
Either we just Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Mispronouncing them forever. Then.
I don't know the answer to that. But my point is, every country should be the country.
I wonder if they were so embarrassed about World War II and what Hitler did that they just said, you know what, we ain't Germany anymore.
Yeah, but
we're divorcing that whole thing.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
And
the rest of the world was like, nope, you're wearing that like a scarlet
letter. And do you know
Turkey's
not Turkey anymore?
I think I did hear that.
It's Turkey.
Yeah, it's got a really weird spelling.
Yeah, because it's pronounced Turkey. So
yeah, I've seen it in a couple AP stories, and I'm like, what, do we have a new country? What is this? And I asked upstairs, and we checked in our AP log, and they said, no, that's now Turkey. Okay.
Other people abroad be like, listen, you Americans just be making stuff up for everybody. Like, y'all just be making up the names.
Yeah.
We don't call each other that. And you're like, you guys just do that, and we just expect it because you're Americans, right?
We got to get to the bottom of that Germany thing, though. Deutschland, like that they've changed their
name. I saw that. I saw it on a few maps. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And like Munich, we say Munich, it's Muncher or Munch. I can't pronounce it. Muncher, but it's like on signs.
Yeah.
Welcome to Muncher. It's not Munich.
Muncher.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny, but
that's a bad name of a town.
My point is,
welcome to Muncher.
My point is, for whatever reason, if they want to be Deutschland, if they want to be Germany, like let's just have one standard name
I'm with
for
that.
locations.
I mean, it's been long enough.
I think these complaints by Mike, you're sounding very much like me. You're being a real curmudgeon.
Yeah, you know what? You are sounding a lot like.
Well, these are just like the things that I want to write. There were so many amazing.
How were the drivers? Bull is very irritated by drivers.
Yeah, the drivers were pretty good. My sister
they drive on the wrong side of the road, right? No, that's England.
Only London or only England. A couple more things. Bakeries. Why don't we have more of these in America?
Oh,
like
you're
on
right
every
about that.
corner, a delicious bakery with like homemade croissants and cookies and muffins.
Any pastry, like
anything. Yeah, and it was on every corner, just like we have McDonald's on every
one
corner.
of them was great.
I didn't have I ate so many pastries. Not a single bad
You said you
one.
were going to gain 15 pounds. What's your weight?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about. I'm definitely squishier than I was before.
Squishier.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't.
And yet
look
Europeans
fatter,
are generally thinner than Americans. We're probably
which
the
is
fattest country in
crazy
the world.
the next part they eat bakeries and you could drink in public in all of Europe.
You can?
We had beers on the train. We had beers walking from the train to the Ubers. We had beers walking from the Ubers to the bars.
How would you say the booze consumption there compares to the U.S.?
At least the parts I saw, way more. You know why? Because beer is cheaper than water. You had to pay for water over there. It wasn't free, and it was more than beer, especially in Prague, which is crazy. And they give you the giant half-liter beers. So my question is, why is it only New Orleans? Why here, like, is New Orleans get some random exception? I want to. I'm not an alcoholic by any means, but now, I would love to carry a beer from my apartment to the Guardians game.
Let me fill you in on it. It's coming. So in Cleveland, they voted in a DORA, which is a designated outdoor recreational area or a drinking outdoor recreational area. I'm not sure what the acronym stands for. We voted it in Sandusky, where I keep the boat and spend a lot of time up there. And what that allows you to do is you have to have the cup. It's a cup that you buy one time and then I think you keep it, or maybe with the first drink that you get, you can keep it. But then you can walk establishment to establishment on the streets in that DORA, in that designated area with the drink. That's coming to 4th and some areas in downtown Cleveland, too.
Why does it matter if it's a cup or a bottle?
I think the bottle issue becomes broken bottle and glass on the streets.
What about a can?
Well, the cup idea is you can take this cup and have the establishment put it, you're not going to hold a can. Say, put some beer in this for me. So the cup idea shows that I'm not exactly sure why, but they know what it is, I guess. They want it in the cup.
You should be able to drink in public. I stand by that.
It's coming to the U.S. It's already here in Sandusky. It's coming in Cleveland. Columbus, I think, has an area that has it. A lot of the bigger, more progressive cities are adding it. So there you go.
Yeah, they don't want you. They don't want you showing what you got, bro. It's just like decency laws, man. Like, they'd be like, hey, just if you got something in there, put it in a little cup. You can go to place to place. We know what you're supposedly drinking.
Right.
But if you just let everybody have a cup, who knows what's in that cup?
And think about how many times you've been in an area like 4th Street where there's a whole bunch of, and Sandusky's the same way, there's a whole bunch of bars all in one area. Like, you just bought a beer, but everybody's like, hey, we got to go. What am I going to do with this? You can't take it.
Yeah.
Well, now you can. You can put it in a cup and take it.
All right, 2 more quick ones, and then one final thought to leave us. I don't understand fashion, German fashion. It was like the baggier the clothes, the better.
They're always ahead of fashion there.
Well, I just don't understand fashion. Then it looked like some of these guys could jump off a 50-story building and just float down. That's how baggy
So are you
their
telling
pants
me
were.
parachute pants are coming back to the United States?
I'm talking parachute pants. If parachute pants took steroids, HGH, and a cycle of massive testosterone,
like
and I'm talking
MC
like
Hammer baggy?
these were so baggy. It was unbelievable. I didn't understand any of it. I just don't get fashion. It is what it is. I'll take the L on that one.
Okay.
They have transparent government buildings in Europe, especially Germany.
What do you mean by transparent?
Everything's glass, see-through, glass all the way around.
I like that idea.
The thought of that is so that people could
government.
watch the government workers actually work.
I like that
I want
idea.
that here in America.
I'm
I want
all
to know.
for that.
That was really cool. The fact that Prague is still standing from the 1400s,
Right.
almost untouched, was unbelievable.
Yeah, beautiful,
And-
right?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And last but not least, I'm happy to be back. It was an awesome week. Had a blast. I got really lucky with my brother and sister. Super tight. And they're awesome. But I missed you guys. I'm glad to
We
be
missed
back.
you.
And Mike
I'll
was
leave you with
definitely
this.
I mean, clearly, look at the top 32.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum held it down all right.
They did a phenomenal job.
Here.
They did a great job.
I'll leave you with this. This
Yeah,
is
they
my
did.
brother's last thought.
Yeah.
To fix the debt problem in this country, why don't we just let like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and all these people buy the naming rights to anything? Like the George W. Bridge, screw it. For $5 billion, it's the Jeff Bezos Bridge. And all that money goes to taxes.
Well,
so we
no
can
matter
actually
what they
fix
do,
stuff.
it's not coming into the regular people's pockets.
And here's the
so what's
thing:
difference?
there's layers, as you say. There's layers to this. You know, most people think $1 million is a lot. And that billionaire, you hear billion, that's a lot. Our national debt is 32 trillion.
Well, it would start to at least help and make us pay less taxes.
Well, here's what you,
theoretically
here,
speaking.
or nominal.
Nobody's got $1 trillion.
How about the billionaires actually pay taxes?
That's-
Yeah,
They wouldn't-
How about
that's
we
where
just-
we can
That's
start.
a good start too.
Yeah, like,
That's a really good start
there.
too.
Can
Yeah.
we do that?
And you get nothing for it. You just pay.
Here's the other thing, too, that we need to start doing, because when we need Social Security, it's going to be gone. If you have a certain number of assets, I don't know, over $1 million worth of assets, why are we still paying these people Social
They
Security
shouldn't.
checks?
It should, it,
But
it should,
and
it
some
should-
people should stop calling it an entitlement. You've paid into that.
Yes,
It's
that's not an entitlement.
No, it's ridiculous.
It's nuts. All right, we're out of
Don't get-
time.
don't get me
Glad
started.
to have you back. Overtime is next. What's on the docket there?
The rest of the viewer questions from Friday. We'll see
Viewer
you in a sec.
questions.
Peace.